And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh Air Podcast, man. Money Monday. We're here with Casper. Let's get into it, guys.
Let's go. All right, we're back. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh Air Podcast, man. Regular edition. It's Money Monday, man. We got Casper in the house. We're going to be talking about trading. Quick announcement before we get into the show, guys. CastleClub Premium, man. It is going to be going up $298 starting next year, man. So go ahead and get in now while you guys can. It's only $65 a month. And join CastleClub if you guys haven't already. But CastleClub Premium is going up, so get in now while you can. I think we have a feature also for an annual. Noble isn't here, but we'll make that announcement a little bit later for you guys. And we did a fire Zoom call earlier today at 6 p.m. for networking. It was insane value about how to meet billionaires and millionaires, how to raise value for yourself, even if you have no value at all at the very beginning. So a lot of value in there. Premium's going up. And for New Year, get in there now while you still can. All right. And we'll do announcements for, you want to do for New Year's? Or not yet?
I mean, we could wait. You got to talk to Chris, right?
Cool. We'll do a stream on New Year's, possibly with some updates. But in the meantime, welcome to the show, Casper, the top trader himself. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys having me on. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, so last time we met was at Jeremy's event. You were teaching everybody about trading and futures, but how'd you get into trading and start your process?
Man, so funny enough, the way that I got involved in trading was more into crypto. So I used to be involved, obviously everybody can see on the title, with some other type things, which we'll get to later, but that got me introduced to crypto, right? Because people, you know, like the Silk Road, you've heard of like Darknet, all that good stuff. So I knew some people that were involved in all that. So they told me about Bitcoin like way before it was even, you know, people weren't even looking at like trading. Like, for example, when I first bought Bitcoin, I had to buy it on a local Bitcoin. Do you guys know what that is? You heard
What
of
is that?
So you got to go buy Bitcoin like either in person or on Western Union.
Really?
This is before, like, there was Mt. Gox, which ended up being like a huge scam rug pull. But that's how I got involved in the space. You know what I mean? And at that time, like, I had been in other stuff for so long that I was looking for different ways to make money, you know, and one of the ways that I saw was crypto, because they explained it to me, you know, oh, it's going to go up in value, all this. And this is back when, bro, if I would have just held like all the crypto I had then, like,
What year was that?
man, this is like 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
You'd been swimming in money.
Yeah, like early 2016. And then I got into it later. I didn't buy it at first, like when they first told me. But anyways, long story short, I got into it by buying a bunch of Bitcoin and ETH and XRP. Got lucky as shit, made a bunch of money. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm a trader now. Right? Like, I got it all figured out. So then over the next couple years, slowly but surely, I ended up just chipping away everything and losing everything, right? Because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right? Like, I thought I did because, like, you get cocky. And I was young, too. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, you make all this money. You know, I had already been involved in all the other stuff. So I was making money there. And I thought, oh, I've got it figured out, right?
Is it common when you're making money in trading, you kind of like say, you know what, I did this, I made a bunch of money. And you kind of like just like don't learn the skills properly? And that happens to people?
I think that does happen to people a lot. It happens at different scales, though. So for me, I turned like 20K into 380, right? That's like a nuclear recipe, right? Because now you're like the shit. You're like, oh, yeah, like I you know, you're cocky as hell. And most people, I think it happens in like a different way. Like you get that, you ever heard of like the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Sounds familiar.
It's like you basically get really lucky at first, and you go through like the valley of despair is what they call it. And then you kind of like, oh, okay, now I actually figured things out, right? People have that beginner's luck. It just comes on different scales. So I think everybody has it, yes. But to that extreme, like, probably not. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I've seen guys come into Miami, spend thousands of dollars on bottles in the club from obviously crypto, Bitcoin, all that stuff. And then next year is like, where are you? Disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's everything, man. I think like a lot of times when people come into money real quick, especially when you're younger, bro, especially when you're younger, you end up, it's how you learn though. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you kind of got to go through that, right? Like you got to have, like, maybe it's not on as big of a scale as I, you know, because I lost everything. But you got to go and get humbled. You got to learn like, okay, there's more to it than just getting lucky. And then that's where you really learn. That's where most people give up. That's where most people are like, oh, fuck this. This is a scam. It's this isn't for me. All the people said it was risky. I knew it was risky. Right? That's where most people quit. That's why, most people don't make it.
What's the most you've made from trading and the most you've lost?
So most I lost was $380,000, which was basically I hit my peak, right? And then I had a little bit more like profits come in, and then it was just like a boom and bust. So boom and bust trading is like you're not profitable. You're making money, but then you lose it all. So you'll have like a good 2 weeks, lose it all in like a day or 2 days or something, right? So that was the most I ever lost. Now I've made over the last 4 years, $4 million total, like crypto, trading, everything. Mm-hmm. But, in terms of like lost in one day, I've lost like 80K in a day. In terms of most I've ever made in a day, it was 80K. It was like 88,000 in a day. But, those are all just, the thing that really comes down to whenever it comes to, learning from all those losses and not really looking at like what's the most I ever made in a day, what's the most I ever lost in a day. You kind of try to like not even think about it. You know what I mean? Because whenever you think about like that, you start setting targets. Like now you want to have a bigger day than that.
So,
right?
So you're telling me if I lose 80K, don't think about it? Myron, if you lose 80K, would you not think about it?
Well, that's why I don't trade. It's just for that.
Yeah.
Just for that. But it's high risk, high reward, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think to be honest, like, you kind of get numb to it too. And once you're confident that you can make it back over time, 'cause that's the thing that's hard about trading, right? Like you can't really control what's going to happen. You can only control like how much do you lose in one day, like or how much do you lose in one trade? How much risk is out there? That's the only thing you can control. No matter how good you get, you're not like a psychic. You're not going to just be able to predict things. So you got to be understanding that like you're going to lose that money from time to time. Yeah. But the trick is understanding probabilities and understanding like, okay, that I have an edge over time. Right. And then you got to just keep chipping away at the block and really just not getting your feelings about it. That's another big thing I see like newer traders do, or even traders that are intermediate that kind of like know what they're doing, but they can't make money. It's because they get so caught up in whenever they take losses or they have a losing streak, they look at it like it's the end of the world. Right. When in reality, if you know what you're doing, it'll all come back together. Like it all just kind of works itself out. You just got to not blow up, not get all emotional, not quit, show up to the plate and just keep pushing. So.
When it comes to new traders and getting into the game itself, what do people mess up on the most, you would say, for trading itself?
I'd say a couple. The main thing is people think they're going to make money fast. Like I get asked by so many people, they want to start trading. They see me on Facebook, like old people from my city, right? Mm-hmm. They want to get involved in trading. And every time that people ask me that, I almost tell them, like, don't even start. Right. And the reason for that is because I know their intentions is because what they think, they see my lifestyle. They think I'm going to learn that in 3 months. Right. And that's what a lot of people will sell you. Like, that's what a lot of people will say. Oh, it's super easy. You're going to learn it overnight. I had the secret. It's really not like that. Right. So the biggest mistake people make is thinking that you're going to get into this and make money fast. Like you will not. I mean, some people may. I'm sure there's some guy. There's nothing is that's true as an absolute. Right. Like there's outliers. But like, dude, you're not going to come in this game most likely and just start making money in 3 months or 6 months, right? You need to come into the game expecting to lose money for a long time. And I think you kind of got to come into the game and almost in a way get addicted to it to even stay around long enough for it to work. So getting into it whenever you're at like, ground zero, like, rock bottom, so to speak, it can be beneficial and have its downfalls because, you don't have enough money to really make money, but you get addicted to it and you don't give up. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'd say that's the biggest mistake is thinking you're going to make money fast.
Okay.
So you learn the mindset.
Yeah. And a lot of it too is like people that get into trading usually really don't, they haven't seen much success in other things. Like it's kind of like one of those niches, like people, you can start from nothing, right? Like most other businesses, you can't really start from actually nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you can start from nothing, especially with prop firms now, like you guys understand prop firms, right?
Basically you get funding from a company.
There's no real money though.
It's just computer numbers, right?
Yeah, it's like a casino. So think of it like this. Let's say if there's a company, right, that sells a test you can take, right? So you can go and pay, let's say $50. Mm-hmm. Okay. Out of those 1,000 people, let's say 1,000 people buy it. Well, out of those 1,000 people that pay that $50, very few of them will actually make money because the rules of the prop firm are so damn hard.
Okay.
So then the people that ended up making money, they'll end up just paying those people out with the loser's money and then keeping the rest.
Yep.
So there's no real money. But I say all that to say that with prop firms, it gives even more of an opportunity to start from nothing. I mean, you go on Apex, for example, and buy like a 50K account. When they run all these sales all the time, they're saying 80, 90% off. They always say that. And they're like 33 fucking, or I think actually it's like $20 when they're on sale. $20.
Really?
Yeah, trade 50,000, but you're really not trading 50,000 because they give you drawdown, right? So like you could say, oh, well, you have a $50,000 account, but you can't lose more than 2,500. So it's like, you don't got 50,000, you got 2,500.
Gotcha.
But people think of it like, oh, I got 50,000.
It's the potential for 50,000.
Exactly. So it's a dream. You know, it gets packaged up and people are like, oh my, all I got to do is put this little bit of money. You're telling me all I got to do is learn to trade enough so I could put $50 in?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it makes it sound like that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But, man, I mean, everybody that's actually, you know, trading in the chat will tell you, like, it ain't that easy. You know what I mean? And there's really, like, a game you got to play with it when it comes to the prop firms. Like, it's different than regular trading, too. You got to learn to play the game of the system. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of rules. But I say all that to say, bringing it back to where people mess up, is they come in and think that there's this crazy opportunity that they're going to get real fast and they're going to make a bunch of money. So a lot of the battle is people just really developing themselves. Like, for example, when I work with people, one of the things that I do is, like, I have them, like, do track habits. I have them really just start doing a bunch of life stuff, like, get your shit together, because you're not going to come into a business where most people fail. Statistically, most people fail at trading, right? Statistically, most people fail. So how are you going to come in and not be at your best, not, like, be all around trying to develop yourself and expect to succeed?
Yeah.
But a lot of people come in at a very low level because of that low barrier to entry.
Yeah.
You know,
and they think they have more than they actually do have to trade. But that's interesting. It makes them, they give them a dream, like 2,500, but they really can spend up to 2,500.
Right.
Even though they think they got 50K in the account.
Yeah, and there's even more rules too. It's not even just that. There's even rules like, oh, you can't make this much in a day. You can't make too much in a day on some of them. There's all different firms. Like, there's tons of different firms. It's been like a crazy rush of businesses starting, but yeah, man, trading's it's the Wild West right now, bro.
Because we've had on Q Banks, along with Raul, a couple of traders before, but you trade futures, right?
Yeah, I trade futures. I trade crypto too. I've traded Forex before. I've traded everything, you know, over there. But right now, it's mainly futures when it comes to day
Can
trading.
you explain to the audience what futures is? And because I don't think we've had someone on that exclusively trades futures.
Yeah,
mostly.
Not the rapper future, but, you know, futures.
Yeah, so basically, you got like the NASDAQ, right? And you got, you know, the S&P 500. Now, there's futures on there's futures on gold. There's futures on, there's futures on natural gas. There's futures on pigs, bro, like wild hogs. I don't trade that, you know what I mean? But I trade NASDAQ. So it's essentially a derivative of the index, right? So it's like you leverage your money instead of just trading the index. So like, let's say if I buy one NASDAQ contract, if NASDAQ moves $1, my profit or loss moves $20.
Okay.
So it's like, instead, you see what I'm saying? So it basically will leverage, and NASDAQ's also super expensive. Like I think it's, you know, right now it's around 20,000. And if you wanted to like actually go and buy that, obviously it's a lot of money, but you just have much less money that you got to have for your maintenance margin if you're trading personal. Now, if you're trading prop firms, they just kind of give you whatever, you know, because there's no real money. They just tell you how much you can trade.
So is futures basically trading on leverage?
Yeah, think of it like that. It's just a derivative. So like in trading, pretty much any kind of trading is some form of leverage. Okay. Unless you're just a whale, right? And even then, like, most of the time, people still use leverage if you're getting in and out intraday. But yeah, it's a form of leverage. Okay. So.
Interesting.
But you're trading the NASDAQ. It's like the stock market without having to trade options. It's like options, there's a bunch of Greeks. You got to understand a bunch of different moving parts. It's a lot harder. Futures is just like, if price moves this much, your profit moves this much, or, you know, or your loss moves that much. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So is it actually like you're trading on the future or not at all? It's just like heavily leveraged. So when it comes to trading futures,
it's just the name of it.
It's just the name.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Like, so futures, funny enough, like,
because you mentioned all these different industries, hogs and all this other stuff. So I was like, wait, are we talking about trading on leverage based on what you anticipate will happen in the future, or? Right. Correct. That is yes. So that's what it is? 100%. But like, what's actually interesting about futures is like, they're used to hedge by different industries. So for example, let's say if oil, like a big oil company, is expecting that oil is going to drop its price. Okay. Well, that could pretty much bankrupt that business if they're, you know, in the multi-million dollar, $100 million of doing business with oil. Imagine if oil drops, you know, $20 a barrel or $10 a barrel. That's nuclear, right? So what can they do? They can go and short crude oil contracts. That's originally what the use of them was for, like on an economic standpoint. But then you get traders come in and trade the markets. So, that's kind of like what, you know, for example, there's even like, let's say if you're a farmer and, you know, because they have futures on crops and you want to bet like you're expecting less rainfall or less precipitation, whatever coming that season, and you're expecting a smaller harvest, well, you can kind of hedge yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, like most people that are listening probably didn't even know that. I just figured that out just from, you know, curiosity. You don't need to know any of that to trade. That's just kind of like a little bit of a But it does help understanding these different industries that you're trading within. And you said that there's futures literally for almost anything.
Yeah, there's future, and then there's crypto futures too, which are a little different. They're called perpetual futures. They're made by like all these like, you know, Binance and Bybit and all these different crypto exchanges. So futures is kind of just a word, you know, so those are perpetual futures. To not get in the crazy weeds of everything, essentially they're ways to trade with leverage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Wow.
So let's say I'm someone trying to get into trading first time, and imagine yourself with $0, very low income, but you want to actually like get into trading and minimize mistakes to the fullest. How would you, as someone that's like an expert in the field, start trading now in the next year and get your best foot forward rather than feeling multiple? I mean, you got to feel it eventually.
Yeah.
But how do you minimize feeling to gain a maximum profit?
You know, I would say first things first, submit to time. Like, go ahead and submit that it's going to take you a little while, and it might take you less than it would have if you've been trying to rush. That's first things first. Second, play with the amount of money you really don't give a shit about.
Right.
And not only because, yeah, you got to be safe and not, you know, avoid losing money. It's not just that. It's that when you bite off more than you can chew, you behave like it. You know, it's like in any situation. For example, like let's say you're talking to a girl and you think she's out of your league. You're going to act like a fucking wimp. Yeah. If you are in a trade and you think this is a lot of money, you're going to fuck it up. If you're in a business decision, you don't think that, or, you know, in some business, you think that you don't know what you're doing, like, you don't act naturally. So that's another thing people don't talk about. They just talk about it from like saving yourself from losing money. But it's more like enabling yourself to make money, because you can't go out there and not be acting natural and make money. So I'd say those two things. And then really, man, just, you know, there's so many different ways to trade. I'm never going to be the one person to say like my way of trading is the only way of trading, because it's just not the case. You got to find somebody that resonates with you. Find something that makes sense to you, that's simple. Don't fall for all the complicated bullshit. Like, there's so much stuff out there that tries to make it sound fancy to like woo and awe people. Anytime you feel like that's going on, just run from that. Because whenever you're trading the right way, it's actually pretty simple. Like, I could probably teach you guys on a chart a pattern that would be able to make you a ton of money. Now, would you, you know, in like 5-10 minutes, but would you be able to go out and execute that? Probably not. Probably takes time because there's nuance to it. You got to go out, get your hands dirty, realize like, okay, well, there's different scenarios that this can play out and stuff like that. And I would also, to add on that, find somebody who actually trades live, right? Because a lot of the people that teach how to trade, they'll teach you with like a old picture of charts or whatever, right? So if they're not trading live, you don't learn the nuance and the execution.
Right.
You know, it's like how many videos you watch or you've seen or books you've read that give you all of the strategy and all the game.
Of course.
Go do it. You're gonna fall. So like there's just so many things you can't explain. Like if you're trying to learn how to swim, and Michael Phelps had a book on swimming, tells you everything he knew to get gold medal, everything. You gonna read that book and go swim like him?
No.
Fuck no. You got to go swim. So it's like, would you rather be coached by him? You know what I mean? So I'd say find somebody that actually trades live. You know, there's tons of people that do that.
So, funny enough, we had Jeremy on a couple weeks ago with Brandon Carter, and he talked about he's trading now and made $900K.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, who taught you this, Jeremy? Because I need to learn this shit. That's insane. And it was you. How'd you meet Jeremy? How'd you get into like training him? Because I know having a mentor, you beat the learning curve. Maybe like 5 years or so, you beat the learning curve by.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. Shit, I mean, it's crazy. I wish I would have had somebody to teach me. But Jeremy, so I used to have somebody on my team at my company that was in Jeremy's mastermind. And he always spoke super highly of Jeremy. I had heard of him because, you know, he's a legend in the space. Like the
marketing genius.
He's a genius, bro.
Yeah.
And so I joined his mastermind. And then I met him like that. We hit it off. And yeah, man. Shout out Jeremy. I'm actually going to go see him at the penthouse tomorrow.
That'd be networking, man. Good job.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so we're going to get into your story real quick. Any chats, Bills and Mo, before we get into the story? What? Cool. We'll bring it up. We got, what's his name? Pug H. Off topic, but would you rather peak in college, such as D1 athlete, frat, etc., or peak at 35 with financial stability, own place, etc., and why? This is, what do you mean by peak? It means like
In life, I guess. Yeah.
In life?
You reach your height.
Like, you know, those people in high school, I can think of multiple people I went to high school with. They was the shit in high school, now they fell the hell off now, you know?
What would you prefer to peak
Man,
at?
of course, 35. 100%, bro. Like, that's not even a question. Come on now.
I mean, everyone I know that was popping in school has kids or like got fat.
Yeah, like, and it's like, bro, I feel like you really can't even peak at that age. Like, you can peak to other people. Like, other people think you peaked. You didn't fucking peak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't peak as a man, especially. Like, you got to grow up. You got to go through some shit to really like enjoy and really have that real rational confidence in yourself. Like, yeah, you might be good at whatever. And not to say hating on young people or nothing like that, but I know whenever I was younger, like financially, I was making money, but I was making stupid ass decisions. I was the cool guy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like then to now, I'm not even the same fucking person, bro. So I think that you know, I almost fucked everything up, and I almost was the guy who peaked when I was younger. So now I've actually peaked when I'm not 35, but you know, I it's not even a fucking question, bro. Not even a question.
Okay. I mean, peaking in school is kind of lame because in school is like, all right, you're impressing people at school, but in real life, real worlds, that's way better. So let's get into your story, man. How you came up, your humble beginnings, and what you did at the very start of your journey. So tell us, growing up with parents, school, what you did, and your crazy business you had that was a bit bad for the feds. And
Yeah. Thank God the feds didn't pick it up, but we'll get into that. But yeah, man. So I was born in South Carolina. I grew up with great parents. Both of them were around. Mom was like the sweet. She's the sweetest. Still is the sweetest woman you'd ever meet. My dad, he's more like the firm. You know what I mean? Like for example, it was like if you're not the best on the team, if you don't win a fight at school, like you better get ready for your punishment at home type shit. And he's old school, right? I'm from the South, like super old school. I used to hate that shit.
Where you from?
Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah, well, born in South Carolina, but grew up in Tennessee.
Okay.
So, yeah, I grew up with amazing parents, right? Like, it's kind of crazy that I got involved in all the stuff that I did because it wasn't like I had to, right? Yeah. And whenever I was born, my dad was kind of on the come up. So he was in corporate carbide sales, which is like tools. So basically, he was selling the bits that go into the lathes at plants that would, like, for example, Beretta was a huge customer of his, right? Okay. Like real, like, industrial type stuff.
Gotcha.
So he was again on the come up. He worked for a company called Valinite then, and then he worked for Mitsubishi. But anyways, and that's a job that really is impacted by the economy, right? Because you're working with a lot of factories. So 2008 hit, right? Like we had a nice house, nice cars, all that shit was gone, right? Because my mom didn't work at that time. My dad, he worked his ass off. They weren't like extremely financially investing or anything like that, and lost everything, right? Like the house was gone, jobs gone, cars gone. We ended up having to move over to like the poor side of town that was a house that a family friend owned that would rent it out to them for super cheap because we just didn't have a place to go. So to me as a kid, and I was 12 at that time, or I think it was either 11 or 12 because I came out the financial crisis, part of 2008. Anyways, I was born in 96. But at that point, that was when I started realizing like I didn't have a care in the world up until then. My mom took me on all sorts of vacations. Like all my friends that had parents that, you know, had bad situations, they all came and stayed at my house. Because my mom was always, she ran away from home when she was a kid. So she always had like a soft spot for that kind of stuff, right? So long story short, I had a golden childhood. But then when all that happened, she had to go back to work, right? So I started, you know, I wanted to understand like, why is this shit happening? You know, like how are we gonna fix this? Like when are we going back to our house? You know, that kind of thing. And I remember my dad, he would just say like, you don't understand. It's money. You don't understand. Like don't ask me another. You know, don't because you know. I mean, now that I'm a father too, right? Now that I'm a father, I couldn't imagine like having to answer that. You know what I mean?
To your kid, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, at that point, I just knew. Like I remember whenever they'd ask, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I would think other kids was lying when they say like a fucking astronaut or a doctor. I was like, I want to be rich. That's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was like, if I get up and I grow up and get rich, that shit's never happening to me. You know? And I saw it tear them apart. Like they started fighting.
Divorce?
No, they didn't divorce, man. I have so much respect. It's kind of crazy that they didn't, but they didn't. You know, I have so much respect for that too because my dad held that shit down. And, you know, he pushed through it. He got another job at a different company making way less money. My mom had to go back and work like a 9 to 5, bro. Like it was like a shitty ass job. Work her ass off too. So at that point I was home alone all the time and we moved to this area. We had a neighbor that was like these older kids. Thinking back, these kids really were some motherfuckers because they was like 16, bro. I'm like 12. So like I started going over there and like playing basketball. They were smoking weed and shit. So I started smoking weed with them. Right? So like at that point I'm like, okay, this is, you know, I felt cool. Like it felt like I was like in control of something. I didn't even want to do it to get higher.
Were they black?
No, they're white.
Oh shit.
Yeah, some country dudes.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I actually see one of them still on Facebook to this day. This was a dude who peaked in high school. It was one of the people that came to mind. He was like a basketball player, but he ain't doing shit now. But yeah, man. So I started hanging out with them, smoking weed, and one of them sold weed, right? So I was like, you know, kind of understanding like, okay, this dude, he's the cool dude. right? Like, he's got more money than these other, the girls were liking him. Like he was kind of just the guy, like he was the alpha of the group. So me, like I was always super like that when I was a kid. Like I always, in sports, I always wanted to be like the best in the team because my dad just fucking hammered that shit at me, dude. Like I remember even my coaches would be like, this kid's dad is fucking crazy. Because they would be like, good job, He's like, nah, like, you gotta get this, you gotta get your swing better. And he didn't even play some of these sports, but he was just so, like that, like my kid's gonna be the best type shit. Took a lot of pride in it. And I'm glad he did. When I was a kid, I fucking hated that shit.
Yeah.
Fucking hated his ass.
Same
I hated
my
his
dad.
ass.
So I know exactly where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But like now growing up, me and him had the best relationship.
Yeah.
So much fucking respect for him, dude. But yeah, man, so I started realizing like, okay, selling weed's cool, right? Like that's kind of the way I looked at it. So being around that all the time, whenever I got the first opportunity, I was like, how can I do that, right? Because they went to a different school than I did. They went to like the city school, and the kid that sold weed, because he was always just over there, and I went to a county school, right? So fast forward, this is when I'm in like 9th grade, right? And I started selling weed, and nobody had good weed at this school, and it was in the county. It's called David Crockett. And I remember this one, weed was like $30 a gram to these kids.
What?
Yeah, swear to God. Yeah. This is like, what, 2011?
That's insane, bro.
Yeah, 2010, 2011. So, I became, like, I was like in 9th grade, like the summer between 8th and 9th grade, I was selling weed to like seniors and shit. So real quick, I started like taking off in that. Like I remember I got to like a quarter pound, which is not a bunch of weed, but for like a fucking 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, it's kind of crazy,
How much would you make?
And then I was just smoking weed, bro. I wasn't making no fucking money. I
You on
thought I
supply?
was. Yeah, I thought I was. I act like I was making money, I remember, dude, I was going back, because I'm making like a whole documentary on my life story, like crazy amount of digging through my past to find a bunch of old pictures. I found this one. I bought like this Belova. You know what a fucking Belova watch is?
Oh yeah.
Like a fucking JC Penney watch,
yeah,
bro.
it's like you got like Macy's or some shit.
Man, I thought I was like, I remember I have this picture though. I was like 12, bro. I'm like holding the bag. I'm like this with like a flat bill on. It's like a fucking $400 watch, but that shit felt like a Rolex, bro.
Yeah, of course.
So I wasn't making much money. I was just doing it to
Pretending.
Yeah.
Living a lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly, man. The cool dude type thing. But that took off though, and throughout high school that accelerated like pretty heavily. So I got into other stuff. I started taking Xanaxes all the time. Like I was like all the way fucked up, bro. Like partying like crazy, everything. Right?
Did your dad find out at all?
Hell yeah, man. I got kicked out of the house. Yeah, man. It was. Yeah, man. We got. I want to. Yeah, he found out. Yeah, like and I found out. We'll just leave it like that, But
FAFO.
Yeah, for sure. He didn't take none of that shit, man. And my mom was like, my mom's I always say this, my mom's the reason that I'm able to do anything that I'm able to do, like in terms of having confidence and like thinking big. My dad's the reason that I have enough like drive to go and actually do the shit. So at that point, my mom, she wasn't as hard on me about it. He was like, no, not in my house. You're gonna get the fuck out of here. Because he's old school.
How old were you at this point? Like 16 or something?
Like 14.
Oh, 14.
Well,
okay.
whenever I got into Xanax, it's like 15, 16.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started taking those. I got arrested like 3 times in like 3 weeks.
Oh shit.
Yeah, when I was a kid. So you're like a juvie, like, but I was with older kids too.
Yeah.
So they were like telling my parents, like, your kid's hanging out with the wrong kids, getting pulled over. Like I had a fake ID. It was crazy. I had a fake ID when I was 16 going to clubs that you weren't supposed to get in unless you're 21. Like, they didn't know fucking way. I look like a baby too, bro. Like if you would see a picture when I was young, I didn't look old.
Yeah.
So I'm looking back, I'm like, man, these motherfuckers did not care, dude. Like letting me come in the bar is crazy. But I was like doing that when I was like hella young, man. Hanging out with the older kids, going with them. But once I started getting in trouble,
Where were you guys going to? Because you said you were in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, it was in Tennessee, in Johnson City. It's like it's a tiny ass town. It's like 80,000 people.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not. It's so.
What would you guys, the Narcos of Tennessee?
I was the biggest drug case in Washington County in history. Yeah.
Oh. Well, you were going to get to that, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So basically,
so you get kicked out 14.
Yeah, I got kicked out, and I was in and out too. Like my mom would let me still come in. I was like staying with my older friends, like sleeping on their couches, running around. I remember I would just ride around and sell weed. I was just a complete degenerate, right? And the Xan, like all the. I remember,
it's funny as fuck, bro.
I remember at that point, like Xanax used to be really bad around that area. I don't know if it was just like that everywhere. I remember it was like even Future's rapping about it.
What does
like,
Xanax do actually?
It's the worst thing ever, bro. It makes you all your inhibition is gone. Like, makes you not give a fuck, bro. Like, not at all. Turn you into a different human being. Like, it just takes control of you. You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't. It's not like like opiates or fentanyl or something like where you're like all doped. I mean, you definitely can be if you take
a prescription drug.
Yeah, it's a pill. It's a nerve pill.
So you just don't care at all.
You don't care at all, man. It's like alcohol, but not. I don't know how to explain it, man. Yeah, it's all your inhibitions are gone. People take them and they just, you know, they're all your. It's anxiety medicine. So it's meant to get the people who are having panic attacks, right? But whenever you take them, you're not having a panic. I mean, you can imagine what would happen. It's a sedative, right?
Got it.
Yeah, but they make you do reckless shit. Like, for example, everybody starts like, you know, getting in trouble, getting in fights. As in fights. Like, I used to get in so many fucking fights, bro, growing up. So many fights at school, outside of school, all that shit. But that's a big one. It's like, it makes people more ready to just, you know, tension. Like, and people don't care. You know, it's like in a regular fight or something, like, people are gonna start talking shit. Nah, this shit, they're just gonna start swinging on each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I remember I was super bad at those. I was still in that lifestyle, and by this point, I had definitely like leveled up in that, you know, world. And I was making a lot of money for a kid that age. Like, I remember I had like 100 grand when I was like 16, 17. Right?
Really?
Damn.
Yeah. So
Wow.
So, but I was like always flipping, always risking it. You know what I mean? So at
Where
that,
were you living at this point since your parents kicked you out?
all over the place, man. Like, I remember I had like a house that I rented out in somebody else's name. That I would stay at sometimes. I would stay with some of my older friends. I was like mobile, man. I was a nomad. You know what I mean? I used to go to like fucking raves and shit, bro. Like, it's so funny how different. Like, I can't even, like, you know, like EDM type shit.
Yeah.
Like, I would never, you know, but I used to go, you know, I'd travel and go do that. So I was just kind of all over.
How old
the
are you
place.
now?
I'm 28.
28.
Yeah, man. Shit feels like a lifetime ago, bro. It's crazy. Like, I try to think sometimes, like, what I was thinking at that point, just genuinely curious. I can't even almost like remember. It's like my mind like buried that part of my, like, I remember it, but like, I don't know, man. It's like I've just shut off to it.
So you're selling weed and Xanax. Do you get caught at some point facing jail time?
I got caught a bunch of times when I was a kid. Yeah, but you didn't face jail time because you're a kid, and it was never violent. You know what I mean? Like, I was never. And the thing was, I was really good in school too. Funny enough, I'd skip school, but I remember I would skip so much school. But even like in algebra, I was getting like 90s, 95 average, like B's and A's. All the teachers loved me. Principal.
You sold them weed too?
Nah. I remember the guidance counselors would be calling me to school and like saying, you know, like somebody had told on me, some kid had said something. It was a wonder I didn't get in more trouble than I did. But I did so good in school, I feel like that was part of it. And like, I had like the assistant principal like stood up for me whenever like I had a probation officer when I was a kid. But I was definitely a little delinquent, man. I got in a lot of trouble. I had to go to, for example, I had to go to the alternative campus, the high school, where you get like wanded down every day. So I had to do that, and I had to do that for like a year. But after I graduated high school, at this point I kind of got off of like doing Zans and all that stuff. I was still involved in the wrong thing, but I realized I was like, dude, you're a fucking piece of shit. You know, I was making money. Everybody thought I was the coolest dude ever. Like, I was the coolest guy in high school, right? Had tons of friends, was at all the parties, threw parties, had a nice car. Like, I remember my my parents took the car they got for me and I went and bought one. And I was like, everybody was just like, yo, this kid's crazy. But I realized, like, this is not going anywhere. And like, I had like one of my good friends, he ended up like his house got broken into, like somebody got shot. I had another friend that ended up getting two friends got super addicted to like pain pills. So it was like all of my friends that I had, everybody was like dispersed.
And you're like, what, 18, 19
Yeah,
at
I'm
this
18.
point?
Yeah, I'm 18.
So your people, their friends around you are starting to go down.
Yeah. And it had been before that, but this was like all my close friends in like a matter of like a year.
What moment made you realize that, like, you know what, I'm out of this. This is over. Like, I need to turn my life over.
Man, that came many years after this point. Many years after that. But at that point, well, I mean, I thought, so at that point I thought that. But I was like, my idea was, let's go to Cali and get into the legal weed game.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was like, man, like, come on. I mean, at that point, and I think that like, and anybody that's been in that lifestyle can kind of resonate with this. Probably like, whenever you're in that, that's all you think you're good at. Like, that's all you think you know. You think you can't do anything else because it's just like ingrained in you, you know, because it's like the music you listen to, the life you live, the people you're around, all the shit you're doing, it all goes back to the same thing. So it's like that's your identity. You identify with it. So in my head, I was like, the most I was going to do was get into the legal weed game. So I decided to move to California. I had a girl with me at the time. I just literally, bro, I had no like nothing out there, like no idea what the fuck I was gonna do.
So you're like 18, 19 now at this point?
Yeah, 18.
What year is it?
This is 2015.
2015.
Yeah. So actually, I think it was early 2016, but you know, right around the same point. But I just packed up all my shit, left, because there was also like a bunch of people, you know, getting in trouble or different things. I just left. Right. I just went to California, and just decided like I'm gonna figure some shit out.
Real quick, we got here in the chat. Is that CIOU? How do you say that?
Oh, man, that's Ethan. Yeah, man. This is a cool ass dude, man.
Casper's a goat for real. Joined his mentorship in October 2023. He changed my life. Grew from YouTube to 20K subs within 3 months. Ethan trades, created my own community. I made over 200K this year. Mad respect. Yeah, man. How do you say his name?
Ethan. Yeah, his last name is. I don't. That's his name on like Discord, so I just call him Ethan, man. That's not his last name either, though.
Cool. All right.
But dude is a fucking legend, man. Like he took a risk. Like I remember whenever he signed up, his dad's a go-to. He literally like took a loan from his dad to start and get serious with trading.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, like fast forward a year, dude's fucking not only has he succeeded in trading, he's built his own personal brand.
Nice.
Fucking
nice.
Absolute legend of a legend.
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to you, Ethan. Sorry, you were so now you're in California and you're getting into the legal weed industry.
Yeah. So
Have you gotten arrested yet at this point? Like was your big arrest yet, or this is
no, this is way before
Sorry.
that. No, yeah. So I basically went out there and I was like, and I was always a resourceful person. Like I was pretty good at networking and like, you know, meeting different. I mean, obviously I had done pretty well in that. Not. I don't want to make it sound good because I don't glorify any of that shit. Like I ain't proud of it, just to be clear. But I was doing well in that line of work, whatever you want to not even work, whatever you want to call it. But so I went out to California, and the idea I was like, I'm gonna go on Craigslist and I'm gonna find people selling grow equipment, right? And then I'll be able to figure out something from there. Because people sell grow equipment, they're gonna be in the weed game.
Yep.
And I was also, bro, I was literally everybody I would be at a gas station. What's up, man? How you doing? Yeah. You know, you start trying to talk to them, see if they was in the weed game somehow. Like I was on everything I could do trying to figure something out. Yeah. So I remember I kept doing that. I remember I got robbed trying to do that. There's all sorts of shit that happened, but to save a long story, eventually I found somebody, right? And it was this old head. I guess he just kind of saw in me. I was ambitious. Like I wanted to work. I was like, look, like you tell me whatever I can do to provide value to you, I'll do it. I just want to get my feet wet. You don't got to pay me nothing. I just want to learn. And he was like, okay, you know? So he was like, all right, how about this? Like you come out, you run this farm and I'll give you half, because he's getting so old. He'd been in the game for so long that he was not even going to run it that year. That's why he was selling his stuff.
Yeah.
So he was like, you come out here and do everything I tell you to do. If you're a kid, because he kind of just took a risk on me, to be honest. I think he could sense that I wasn't fucking around. Because I would tell him straight up, I'd be like, look, you know, I don't have nothing else out here. Like it's all on the table. Right? I got to go. So he took a risk on me, ended up saying like, I'll give you 50% of what we harvest if you come out and do everything I tell you to do. Okay. I was like, hell yeah, man. Grow weed, that shit's going to be easy. Nah, man, that's like crazy labor, crazy work. Like because outdoor weed, right? There was indoor weed too. But I remember I went out there the first day that we were actually, he had taught me a bunch of stuff at this point, but I remember we were sitting outside and this dump truck pulls up. And I'm like, what the fuck's a dump truck here? He's like, that's the dirt. The whole dump truck had to come back 3 or 4 times and just dump dirt in a pile that you had to put in a wheelbarrow, roll down this crazy ass trail, one wheelbarrow at a time, because it's like a mountain trail.
Yeah.
Go out there, take the dirt, put it in a big canvas smart pot. All that by myself for 400 pots.
Damn.
But I remember my fingers, like the skin, I even had gloves and the skin was just gone. And this is like 2 days in. And I'm like, man, what the fuck have I signed up for?
Damn.
You know? So at that point, I was still just so thankful that I had found something. Like I was so grateful that, you know, okay, I got at least a lead on something. I'm doing something right. I'm not in the game. You know, I didn't even talk to people back home. Like I had blocked so many people I was trying to, in my head, trying to do better. Right. Yeah. I mean, I was doing a lot better.
Legitimize yourself.
Right. Exactly. So I did that for a while. And then it came to a point, I remember, I never forget this shit. I was sitting in my living room playing Call of Duty. And the girlfriend I had at the time, she came in and she was like, hey, we need to talk. And I was like, man, hold on 1 second. Like, I'm playing. Like, you know, can't you see I'm playing? And she was like, I'm pregnant. So I was like,
trust me, bro. That's the worst news you could hear.
I was like, shit, man. Like, you know, I didn't expect it, right? So I was just like, and I had been with this girl for a while at the time. It wasn't just like some random, and we weren't trying to have a kid. But, at that moment I was sitting there and I was just like, fuck, bro. Because I'd already been thinking, like, my mom would tell me, she's like, you're too smart for this shit. Like, why do you keep putting yourself in a box? Why are you just doing this? Like, oh, it's the legal weed game. But it's still like, I mean, I'm not, people would make crazy money in the legal weed game. But it's a dirty ass business, man. It really is. It really just is. That's the nature of it.
It is.
And I knew deep down that I wanted to do something else, right? And I'd already been thinking of, like, am I going to do this forever? Why am I doing this? If I'm not going to do it forever, why am I doing it at all? Well, what the fuck am I going to do, right? So at that point, I remember I started thinking, like, okay, I'm going to have a kid, right? Like, I've got to really clean my shit up, right? I'm going to actually, like, get out of this shit, go home. This is crazy as fuck. Like, I got to figure something out, have a normal life, right? So I remember I tried to go home. I ended up moving home, but then I just kept selling shit. I kept selling weed, right? Because now I had a farm. I won't get into crazy details, but obviously I had been connected and stuff, right? So at this point, I was like, well, fuck it. I'll kind of be half in, half out. I'm fast forwarding a little bit. Right around that, this was right around the same time that whenever I figured out that she was pregnant, that was like September of 2016. And right after that, that's whenever crypto finally started moving. Because remember, like, rewind a while, I had bought a bunch of crypto. But I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right? So I had bought all this stuff, and I started seeing it, like, people talking about it. It was not the same crypto Twitter as it is now.
Was it
right?
in a cold wallet, or was it like
no? It was blockchain. Have you heard of the app called Blockchain? There's still a wallet, but it back then it was like one of the only ones. I didn't even know what a cold storage was back then. This is when Binance. I don't know if you guys know what Binance is. You could get Binance, you could get Binance in the U.S. You can still, it's Binance U.S., but back then it was just regular Binance. Anyway, I use Binance. What I'm saying that is I use Binance. But yeah, around that time, crypto started moving, right? Before, like, after I figured I was going to have a kid. So it was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, I'm going to make money in this. I started really researching at this point. Like, oh, this is why they use it. Because I just knew they used it on the Silk Road. I didn't even think nothing of it. Like, I thought it was just some, like, illegal crime money. That's what my brain thought of Bitcoin was. So I ended up just realizing, like, okay, I can maybe have something else to do other than this weed stuff. By the time my daughter had been born, the whole bull run had happened, because my daughter was born in May 2017, right? Okay. So I had or no, that's not accurate. The bull run part, the bull run hadn't already unfolded. The bull run was in 2018, but I had made a bunch of money from when I had bought still with Bitcoin, right? Gotcha. So at this point, I was already thinking of, like, how do I get out? How do I go back home? How do I, quit all this stuff? So I stayed out for the farm for the first year my daughter was alive. But in that whole time, I was, researching about crypto, learning about how I can make money from trading. I hadn't really started trading yet, but I was trying to learn of all these different ways to make money online with different things other than the game, right? Mm-hmm. So once I actually finally hit super crazy, at that point, that's whenever I decided I was like, I'm going to move home, right? Because I had a bunch of money. I'm going to go home. I'm going to just make this.
You got tired of the farming? Is that what it was?
Nah, to be honest, man, I wasn't really tired of it. I was just tired of, like, the shit that came with it. Because, like, people was getting robbed and killed. Like, that was a huge thing out there. So I was in Calaveras County, which is, like, it's not Humboldt, but it's like the second kind of, it's kind of like Humboldt, meaning it's out in the country, dude. Like, it's not like people getting, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy, Seth. I just saw Seth in the chat. Anyway, shout out Seth. That's my homie. He could tell you all this shit's 100. He was there for that. But where was I at?
You were saying you had to leave because it started to get dangerous.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you made a bunch of money on crypto.
Right. Yes, a lot of people was like getting robbed and killed, and it was just, the farming was cool. Like, after I got good at it, it was actually fun because it's hard. And anything you get good at that's hard, like, it's cool. It's fulfilling, right? Like, you build a whole farm. Like, I mean, it was a quarter acre of canopy, which is like a pretty big area. Wow. I had ran all the irrigation systems. It's not just like some Joe Smo shit. You got to really know what you're doing. Yeah. So it was cool. I enjoyed it. After I got good at it, first I hated that shit. But it was hard work. And then everybody started getting robbed. I remember there was a bunch of people got killed. They were, like, set up by their trimmers. It just wasn't. It's not something you want to do when you have a kid. And I didn't do it at my house. Like, I had another house that was at. Never brought anything back to, like, where she was at. But, you got a baby in the house, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of scumbag are you to keep? Like, because people always want to, like, make it sound like you can play both parts. And I used to at that point. I used to think I could play both parts, but like I knew deep down I had to get the fuck out of there, right? So eventually,
Were you still selling at this point, or no? You're just straight farming.
yeah, but it was like in Cali, it's different, bro.
Okay.
It's like a different like everybody's selling weed out in certain cities.
Yeah,
like Calvert County, bro, everybody's selling weed. Like not even like what you think of selling weed is here. Like they look at it like it's like fucking like tomatoes or something. Not like that. You know what I'm saying? Though, but really,
yeah.
It doesn't have the same stigma.
Yeah, everybody's
I understand.
got like a family member that's in a farm.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah. So fast forward.
Go back to Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I'd made a bunch of money just getting lucky, right? And what's funny, the one thing I did right was I sold pretty damn close to the top, which is kind of funny, right? Because like most people, they get rich and they just hold it all the way back down. I held it back some of the way down. But I remember selling. I was like, this is perfect. And I really thought in my head, that I had it figured out. Like I was like, dude, this is like meant to be. This is destiny. Like I'm getting out of the game right when I figure out how to do this. I remember I was watching Trading 212 videos, which is like it's like a trading YouTube, but it's like it's the most base level fucking. I mean, it's cool if you know absolutely nothing, but they just basically take every single strategy that was ever talked about and make a video on it. So you think they're all good, right? So I remember I was watching all these videos, figured out, okay, cool, like bull flags and ascending. I remember I was just trading like chart patterns. Those are basically just really basic ways. Like, I could teach you that in 5 seconds. They don't really work that well though, right? So, but I thought, okay, cool. Like I've learned the way. I've got a bunch of money. Cool, I'll risk like 5,000 a trade. That's good risk management, which is like crazy. It's not good risk management. But you know, I thought I had it figured out, right? So when I moved back, I also was still trapping and stuff. Like I was still doing all that. But I was trying to be like half in, half out, right? So I was making some money trading, but I was losing it. But I was like also making money from the street stuff. So it was kind of like you kind of drown yourself out. So it's like a slow burn, but you don't really realize what's happening. Like I thought, okay, you're just learning. It's okay. You're only down like 30 grand. It's okay. It's okay. Right? And then I remember I thought crypto was going to make like another bull run. So I bought back into a bunch of crypto, like held it, and ended up plummeting. So lost a bunch more money. Then I kept trying to trade it, and it was just like a slow and sure
battle.
Yeah, it was like it was like, you know, 1 step forward, 3 steps back.
Yo, I'm sorry, bro. I just can't picture you selling drugs or anything, bro. Like,
Yeah, man,
This guy
yeah.
today, I'm like, bro, what the heck?
Yeah, man, I've changed a lot, man. Like I wouldn't like myself. I always joke with the girl I'm with now. She wasn't with me back then. She had never been with me. She's amazing, but she's not like that. Like she's cleaned up. You know what I mean? Like if I would have been like that, she wouldn't have even fucked me. She would have thought I was a crazy ass. But I always tell her, I'm like, I would have fucking hated myself. Like if I met myself, I'm like, this guy's a fucking douchebag. A fucking arrogant. You know what I mean? I'd be like, this guy's a loser, right? Because I really was. Like I was a rich loser. Because you can, you know what I mean? Like I thought I was the shit, but
As they say, money doesn't unlame you.
oh shit, man, that shit's crazy. I was like, what the fuck? But nah, yeah, like I thought I had everything figured out, and you know I was cocky. But back then I was a different dude. To that point, is like if you, I don't know, did you even see like the mug shot or anything, like the picture? I think I sent you. I did send, it's on the fucking thumbnail. Duh.
So how'd you end up going to jail though?
Yeah, so okay, it's a long story, but from where we're at now, essentially, really what happened, the mother of my child and I ended up splitting up. And at that point, I was just like full sicko mode. Like,
Were you married at all or no?
No, I wasn't married. No, we weren't married. But I remember whenever we split up, I was like, and it was right around the same time I'd lost everything. So I'll save essentially lost a lot of money trading, doing retarded shit, okay? Ended up losing it all. Around that point, I was also taking a lot of losses in the game, and the mother of my child and me split up.
Ooh, devastation.
Yeah, like full devastation. Bro. Heartbroken.
Yeah.
Heartbroken, bro. You know, like thought I was like, you're never coming back from this. That's what I thought, you know? But obviously, you come back. Actually, I don't think I really, I wanted to get down on myself, but I always knew. But at that point, I used it as like, almost like I felt like I was being like noble or something. Like, I'm going to go hard in the game now. Like, I'm going to fucking, you know, prove everybody wrong. I'm going to make a bunch of money, get all this money, go back into trading and, you know, fucking ride off in my land. That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's when I really got like really in the game, you know? I was older. I'd met a lot of people, got involved in different things. I won't go into too much, different kinds of people, you know what I mean? Like different levels of things, right? And I basically took the fuck off at that point. Like I started making a lot of money, right? Started doing real serious shit and basically like took over the whole city. like everybody. Like I was in the club with like it's so fun, bro.
So you were selling everything at this point. Probably no more just weed. You move on.
Allegedly.
To like, okay.
Allegedly. Yeah, I mean not everything. I won't. I like to be clear. Like I've never like dealt in no like shit that like opiates, nothing like that. Like that all that like never been a part of that shit.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. But
you said you were in a club with like celebrities.
No, I always mob at the club, like 40 people with me, all diamond chains, like we're pulling up, like it was like crazy obvious what was going on, right? So I was like the dude in town running shit, like for real, it's crazy, bro.
How much were you making a month at this point?
Man, multi six figures.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. But I ended up spending it all. I ended up spending it all. Like it would all get spent, or I'd end up losing it all. Because that was the thing in the game, is it's on credit, right? So like you're not like buying it and then for my situation, it wasn't like I was buying it, getting
You're getting it on consignment.
Exactly. Right. So you're like on this.
Keys probably?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Right.
But I got charged. So we'll get so.
Yo, you sound black, bro.
That's
like, what the heck? You sound black as hell, nigga.
So essentially, got involved in some crazy stuff, right? And but the thing was, I would lose so much money too. Like I would make a bunch, but then I'd like lose everything because I was putting it all on the line in different situations at all times. Like at any
people get
time,
robbed, you lose some product.
Right.
Yeah.
People go to jail, people get robbed.
Yep.
I got robbed one time. Like I remember I got beat, literally I almost died, bro. Like I got beat so bad, they had an AR like butt, like hitting, this is how you know some motherfucker's sick, hitting my thigh. Not even like hit my face too, but like just breaking the inside of my knee, like hitting my thigh, because they knew my knee. I fucked my knee up when I was in high school, so they was beating the fuck out.
Oh, that's some vindictive shit.
Yeah, it was people I knew, man. It was people that I put on at one point, people that I made a lot of money. But that's how that lifestyle is.
That's the game.
But yeah, so essentially that went on for a couple years. I was completely.
Couple years, never got caught, nothing.
I got caught.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got caught. This went on for like 2 years. It was like late 28, like early 2019 until I remember in July of 2020, a bunch of people started getting raided, like sweep shit, like multiple people getting raided at one time. And then I would ask them, be like, what's going on? They'd be like, oh, nothing. They didn't say nothing about you. And I was like, and then I remember I got wind from one person's girl. Because he told her that they were asking me. He didn't tell me. And she ended up telling me, right? So I'm like, okay, I know that there's some shit going on, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, there's a bunch of people getting in trouble, a bunch of stuff happening. And I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here, right? So I went to the only place I knew. It was Cali. I didn't tell nobody. I mean, some people knew, right? But I blocked, I fucking like didn't.
Took off.
Yeah, took off, right? So I went to Cali, and this is where I really was like, okay, now I got to get the fuck out of this stuff, right? Because I was scared at this point. I was like, damn, like this shit's for real, right?
Would you say that most people that get into the game of selling these things get caught eventually?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, on what level though? Like, it can be different. Like everybody's gonna get caught up at some form, but like if you get to the level I was at, you will end up. You'll either end up. It's a wonder that I'm not dead or in prison. It's a wonder, bro. Like,
especially as a higher up guy.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason that I'm not in prison and is because that shit didn't go federal. If that would have went federal, I'd have probably went to prison for sure. Because feds have such a high conviction rate. I mean, you know, yeah. But yeah. Long story short, I went out to Cali. And at this point, I was like, okay, now I got to go all in on trading. Because throughout this time, like when I was in that lifestyle, I was trying to learn how to trade, but you're so drowned out in everything else. Like we was in the club every fucking night, drinking every day, partying, like going. I'd come to Miami. I'd come to Miami and stay here for 3 months, 4 months at a time, just getting Airbnbs.
Damn.
Just on some crazy shit.
That's
like
not cheap.
Getting bottles at Live. I want to go to the stupidest places too. I remember like I wasn't from Miami.
How are you still making money then? Or were people working for you?
Yeah, I had everything. I didn't really. Yeah,
working for you back over there.
Let's put it like this. When I did get arrested, I didn't have anything in my possession. I never got caught with anything. Not one time.
I'll tell you this though. You know Malone? He got you beat.
Who's Malone?
He spent $300K at a club.
Yeah, I never did that. I spent like 60 bands one night. I never went crazy with the amount I spent. I mean, 60 bands is pretty stupid.
No,
yeah.
Bro, that's insane. Actually, that's the guy that stole crypto from I guess the Millionaire.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
You're talking about the
Maloney?
guy?
Yeah, the Asian guy.
Yeah. I saw
he did it here in Miami.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean,
insane.
They stole like, what was it? They stole some crazy amount though. It was
a lot of money. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was a lot.
It was like tens of millions type shit.
Yeah,
he's done. But yeah, so at that point, I realized I got to get the fuck out of everything. And I had some money, right? So I remember I was going to like Bitcoin ATMs. They only had so much of a limit you could buy without showing your shit. But I would literally go to like fucking 40 of these things in a day. Like I'd wake up early, just drive all around LA.
Really?
Trying to get crypto, because I was like, I got to get the fuck out of all this. I blocked everybody. I was like, trading has to work. Like, this is your one shot. So I left Tennessee, moved to LA, right? And I was like, you got to figure this shit out, right? So started pushing money into crypto. And this is where I started to actually like, now I got to take trading serious. Because I had learned a lot of lessons. Mind you, this is multiple years after. I had came up, lost everything. I had learned a lot of the lessons. Funny enough, I still didn't really even have like a plan of how I was going to do it. But I was a little bit more mature at this point. Realized I couldn't do that shit again. So funny enough, I remember back when the weed game was like all big on Snapchat. Most people don't even know that, I guess. I say that like people just assume people know. There used to be hella crazy plugs on Snapchat that would just like sell weed on Snapchat to anybody. Like they're just selling online, like straight up to anybody, right? And they would do it, like they would have distros in Cali where you would like, it's like a dispensary, but for like large amounts of weed. And they'll just have people come up, do pop-ups. They do them in like it might be a barber shop in the day. They know the owner at night. They'll do a pop-up and have like tons of people come through, and they'll throw like a smoke off or something. Like a bunch of people are smoking weed, like cookies would be there, all these different brands, right?
A smoke off?
Like that's what they just smoke weed, like smoke like huge ass raws, like the papers. I say all this like everybody knows what you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. But
I heard raw.
Yeah.
Instantly I was happy.
No, but
pause. The girls report. Girls.
Oh man,
sorry. Go ahead.
This
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
But man, so anyways, like I remember there was this influencer. His name's the Cali Plug. A lot of people probably know who he is. He's pretty famous in LA. You know who he is? Yeah. So the Cali Plug, and he's like a legitimate brand. Like he's out with rappers and all this stuff, and he throws these pop-ups. But I remember he used to do promos on his story. Like people would pay him to do promo. I remember, I'll never forget, I saw this promo, and I'd already been thinking about like, oh, how am I going to learn how to trade? I was buying all sorts of courses. This is before I really knew what a Discord community was. Okay, so this is 2020, right? What I'm talking about right now is like September, October 2020. Crypto was starting to like heat up again. I'd put a bunch of money in Bitcoin. I was like, this is going to happen. So I see this ad for a trading group, and they're like, streaming the screen and showing all the people in chat making money. It's like this Discord chat. I didn't even know what Discord was. And I was like, shit, this is fucking perfect. Like, this is it. It's a sign from God. Like, my ass really thought that. I was like, this is a sign, right? So I remember I immediately slid up on it, messaged the person. Shout out Playboy. This dude literally changed my life. I don't know. He might be watching. But I remember I slid up, and he had started this little group. It was like I think at that time it was like 125 or something per month. Something cheap. Joined it, and all these people were new to trading at this point. All these people had been, they came in with the COVID craze. So they didn't really know how to trade. I had been trading for years, even though I wasn't that good at it at this point. But I had a lot of experience, so I had kind of cemented myself as like an authority figure in the chat, right? I was like one of the first members. Then this group ended up blowing up. I got really big, bro. Like I remember they had like probably like 2,000 or 3,000 paying members at one time.
Wow.
Right? And when I joined, it was like 100, right? So I was also really tolerant to risk, which most people weren't. So like I would, start to post trades where I was like super risked, making a bunch of money. People would, ask me questions. And I remember Playboy, he really knew what he was doing. And he started to teach me how to trade. Bro literally like mentored me one-on-one. I was paying to do like $100, fucking crazy. But he taught me like, okay, this is how you actually treat trading like a business. This is how you manage risk. All the little things that I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know to do these things this whole time because I had just thought about like, oh, you find a strategy, you make money, right? But once I learned all of the nuance in the game of trading like a business, immediately I started making money. Because it was just like I had that missing piece. And it also was kind of like, you have that intuitive feeling when you've been working at something forever, you finally get it. Like I knew it. I was like, this is it. So I started going balls to the wall with like, I was managing my risk, but I had a lot of money to throw at stuff, right?
Right.
So I remember I ended up doubling my account, like did it all publicly. At that point, he was like, okay, I want you to start teaching everybody else in the chat, right? So he told me, okay, if you post your trades in a chat, I'll give it to you for free, like the membership. But wasn't even paying me. I didn't even want no money though. Because at this point, I'm out here in Cali. I've got no friends. I've cut off everybody from my life. I'm waiting at any point. I'm like, I'm going down. I didn't know if I was or not. I deep down knew, right? So this to me meant everything. Like I latched onto this shit, and it literally was my world, bro. Like trying to master this, you know, in this community of people, right? It was like my brotherhood, and it was crazy because it's like, you guys ever play Call of Duty when you was a kid?
Yeah, of course.
You're like, imagine Modern Warfare, but you're making money.
Yeah.
That's how this shit was for real, bro. Like, you know, everybody would just shit in the voice chat. I mean, it was a beautiful thing, to be honest, you know. None of us really, we were all trying to, you know, kind of come up, and a lot of people from that chat now have came up crazy, which is insane. But, you know, I would post trades, helped a lot of people, like, you know, teach them stuff, because all these people, again, were new to trading because of COVID.
Yeah.
So once I started really locking in, and like, that's all I did, bro. I literally just, I was in Discord. I was, you know, creating like educational material for the group. I was live streaming my trades, and we would just live stream, because it was crypto. We would just live stream like 10 p.m., midnight. We're just hanging out, chilling, right? So I started making a lot of money in there, and everybody was learning. Everybody was making money with me. Everybody was hyped. Like the energy is peak. Like this is the peak energy going into 2021, right? Everything's changed. Like I've made it. Like I'm the happiest ever, right? I'm like telling my parents, like I actually figured it out this time, because before, you know, they thought I was there like, this motherfucking gambling addict. You know, he ain't figured shit out. You know what I mean? Because they didn't really know. Like they knew why I left for Cali. They were upset because, like, you know, my dad, he held our family together when I was a kid when they went through shit. My family fell apart. And then not only that, then I became even more of like a degenerate. And then moved to California and couldn't really explain why. So it looked like I was just a piece of shit, which to be honest, I was a piece of shit at that time, to be 100. You know what I mean? But I finally figured I was calling people, everybody like, oh, I have this figured out. Nobody really believed it. And not long after that, I remember I was on a live stream. Like I was literally streaming on Discord, right? And all of a sudden, like, I look over at my friend that's at the house, and I'm like,
FBI, open up.
Nah, they didn't have a warrant. It was just the local cops, and they were knocking. They beat. I remember I wait, and I looked at them. I was like, get out. So get on the floor. And because I knew immediately, I had been doing this shit for years. I was like, they would have kicked the door if they had a warrant. Like they wouldn't just knock on the fucking door. You know what I mean? You wouldn't even know. It was too late. So they just beat on the door. We're shining flashlights around. And I was laying there, and I was like, fuck, this is real. Because at this point, I did know I knew things were going to catch up to me. You know what I mean? But you drown it out, man. Like when you're doing good something else and you're just in the flow of things and things are happy, it's good. It's like wallpaper, man. You don't know where the holes in the wall are till you lean into it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's a very good analogy.
Yeah, you know, so I was like, oh fuck, this is real. And I remember my friend, as soon as all this shit, like they left, I was like, bro, you gotta get the fuck out of here. He's like, bro, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Like Mexico, like you just go to Mexico. Because I live right near San Diego. At this point, I live between LA and San Diego in a city called Temecula, right? And he's like, bro, like you got to go. And, you know, for a minute, I thought about it. Because I was like, I didn't know what was coming. You know, I knew that by this point, I mean, you know, like everybody I fucking knew basically had got arrested. Crazy, like different things. You know, people got caught with crazy stuff, right? So I was like,
did somebody snitch?
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Tons of people did. Basically everybody I grew up with, everybody that I once called a brother snitched on me, you know?
Damn. Call him Gunna.
Yeah. But you know, like that shit's never, it's not even like, I wasn't even surprised, you know? I think anybody, like that shit's to be expected. Yeah, exactly. It's to be expected, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like at that point, he left and I sat and he was like, what the fuck are you going to do? You just going to sit here? I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. They're going to come back. Like, they're going to come back with a warrant. Maybe they don't. But I told him to leave. And I remember just the next day, I had left to do something. And when I came back, I pulled up and I pulled in. And whenever I pulled in, I saw this Durango. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because I lived in a nice-ass neighborhood. So it was a nice-ass house, bro. I remember the neighborhood was like, what the fuck? When I was getting ready. Because it's like a gated community, you know. But I went in the house, and not even 5 minutes, it was just like, poof, like doors kicking, everything, you know, all the entrances of the house kicking. I remember the cops in Cali are crazy. They had Glocks with 30 clips. I was like, these motherfuckers are playing Call of Duty with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like. But
crazy. You weren't selling at this point, right?
Nah. But it's conspiracy charges.
Yeah. From Tennessee. I was gonna say, yeah. Okay, so they had a warrant out for your arrest in Tennessee and got you.
What does that mean? Conspiracy, Myron?
So Yeah,
He basically he was conspiring with other individuals to sell drugs.
Even if it's in the past?
Oh, hell yeah. That's the only way you can get charged with it. It's a
remember, he
mafia
said that he
charge.
never had product, which means he's a high-ranking guy. So that they got him for conspiracy because everyone else snitched, said, "Hey, all my people were going to." This was the guy that ran the organization.
Yeah, but well, it's crazy because at this point, I had been, I had been at this trading shit for years, right? I had ups, I had downs. I had finally felt like I'm actually out of the game, right? Because I really, at that point, I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, you'd been a few years out, right?
Yeah, not even a few years, like not even a full year, but coming up on a year.
Okay.
Right.
Is that how you got your name, Casper?
Nah, man, I was the only white kid in my boxing gym, so I boxed when I was growing up. That was how I got that nickname.
Okay.
The White Trapper, Casper. Okay, I like it.
So they come and they get you for conspiracy charges out of Tennessee.
Yeah. So whenever they come through,
Was it TBI?
No, it was Cali cops. They didn't even have.
But I mean, like someone from Tennessee had to have
TBI.
come.
So TBI is fun. How did you? I mean, you were in the.
Yeah, I mean,
Homeland. So yeah, TBI. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Who
but
ran the
TBI
case
it was
out of Tennessee?
TBI, but it was mainly the police station in my home city.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
they have to because that's their jurisdiction.
Correct.
But I'm saying someone from
TBI,
TBI had
yes.
to have shown up.
In California.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't on the site of the raid.
Okay.
But they were like out in California.
Okay.
Right. So they didn't.
Did they arrest you that day too or no?
No, they arrested me in Cali for a fugitive from justice, which is basically like a placeholder, and that's what I got booked on in Riverside County. But then they extradited me to
Tennessee.
To Tennessee.
And then you spoke with TBI agents, or they tried to talk to you?
Yeah. So no, at the beginning they didn't even because you're the top dude. Like they didn't even really want to talk to me. Like they they did eventually, of course.
Yeah.
But at first they were like, "Yo, we're gonna get everybody to ransack you."
Yep.
Then we'll come talk.
That makes sense.
Right. So,
but it was TBI that ran your case.
Yes, technically, but Johnson City Police Department was the one that was.
They were the lead.
They were the most invested in it. They had done the most work.
So they're the
right.
lead,
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
So at that point, I remember they
For those that are wondering, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Think of it as the FBI, but for the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, they don't
That's
fuck
what
around
TBI
either.
is.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So essentially, I got charged. I ended up spending like 2 weeks in Cali jail. It was like 2.5 weeks. And then I got extradited back over. What's crazy though is since I had that fugitive from justice charge, they put me in like a high security, like a gang unit, which was crazy as fuck, bro. Because I was the only white dude in there, and it was a bunch of Mexican dudes. They were literally like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like they weren't even fucking. It was more like laughable. They're like, "What the fuck?" They put this, you know what I mean? But they were super cool to me, you know. But I didn't have no problems in there. Came back home.
You should have hired them to shovel your dirt.
What the fuck? This guy.
What?
Golly.
Just say it's Cali, bro.
No, but
They need to work too.
They got to send him back, bro. Send him back. He couldn't even do it. Sorry. So they extradite you back, right? They send you back.
They extradited me back, and at that point I was like, you know, because I got charged with conspiracy to traffic marijuana 300 pounds, conspiracy to traffic cocaine 300 grams, money laundering, and they said it's school zone because one person was in school zone. Now this is where a lot of people mix up the whole thing, because like the whole thing of my arrest got posted online, right? Some person that like makes hit pieces, they had used that as like a video, right? They made a video on it, and the way they painted it out was like I got caught with everything, because like in the conspiracy there was people got caught with like 800,000, like 80 guns, a bunch of coke, weed. I think there's other stuff I can't even remember, but those are the main things. But I didn't get caught with anything.
Yep.
Like I didn't have anything in my possession. The people who did get caught with coke and guns, they did go to prison. Right. Not even for a long time ago. It was like a year, and then one got 2 years. But yeah. So at that point, I was like, you know, my life's fucking over. Because in Tennessee, and they were talking, they kept saying the feds were going to pick it up. That was like the narrative that was at play. And I was like, yeah, your life's over. Right. And I didn't really realize how serious. I mean, I knew it was serious, right? Like when I was in jail, I was sitting there like, dude, fuck. Like, you were almost there, bro. Like I was almost there. And I finally actually got trading to work where I wasn't just some fucking gambler. I had like a community of people. Everything felt like it was like on point for me. I was like, thank God. Right? Like yeah. It felt like the first time in my life I was doing something that actually fucking meant something. Yeah. For the first time in my life, bro. Because mind you, bro, this is 2021. This is over 10 years after I started like selling weed to smoke weed. So that's my whole life, bro. Like that was who I was in my head.
Change, bro.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. And it's like, that's why I say I don't even know. Like, like that old me is like so dead to me. You know what I mean?
That's Casper. You're Jesse now.
Yeah, it was funny. It came up and that's another thing too. Like in Playbit, which is the name of the Discord where I learned in, everybody knew this. But then when it got released recently, people painted it out like it was a secret, like that I'd like tried to hide it. And they also said I didn't start trading. This is they painted it into like some fucking narrative. I mean, you know how that goes. But it was like a whole free Casper movement in Playbit. Everybody knew there was a thing. Like I was called Casper at that point, anyways. But yeah, man. So whenever I went to my first court date, I remember they were like, "Yeah, judge is seeking, or the state is seeking 15 years," and I was like, "Fuck." They said 15 years, no less. Like
15 to what? 30, 50?
So
40?
If you go to trial, I would have got 30 years most likely. 15 to 30. It depends. Like so the cocaine charge, they have mandatory minimums. If you get so if you go to trial, and they charge you with the Class A felony, right?
It's 2021 now.
Huh?
This is roughly 2021.
This is 2021. I got arrested in April of 2021. Okay. Right. So it was like the first court date was like June, I think. It was like May or June. Right. And I was like, yo, your life's over, right? Like you're fucked. And at that point, you know, I had a daughter too, man. You know what I mean? And my parents were like super fucked up. I had to go back to my mom's house. Like that's how, you know, when they came to that house, they took my computer, they took everything I had, and I got arrested in Cali and came to Tennessee. So all my shit's in a house across the country. Mm-hmm. Right. And essentially, I just pretty much shut down mentally. I was like, it's over for you.
It's over.
Right. Like it's just a game now of like, let's see how much money I can make to make sure my daughter's as straight as possible because you've done fucked up. Right. So at that point, I was a complete like sociopath to shit. Like that was like my brain's way of dealing with it was like it didn't feel real. Like I didn't sit around and like cry about it or get anxious. I mean, I would when I think about it, but it was just like I'd shut it out. That was the way I dealt with it. So I was trading still, and at this point, bro, I didn't even give a fuck. And what's crazy is that—
You're out on bond?
Yeah, I was out on bond.
Okay.
Yeah. But I remember going back to Playbit because like at that point, you're not getting a fucking job. Like there's nothing you're gonna be able to do. You know what I mean? At that point,
Who's
I didn't
gonna hire you?
Yeah. Especially my shit was this isn't just like a normal, like I was in
all
a
over the
fucking
town.
newspaper.
Yeah.
The fucking, my teachers from high school are messaging me on Facebook saying, oh my God, I pray for you shit. You know, it was like that.
You ever had a real job?
Yeah, I had a real job. I worked as a server at Red Lobster, and then I worked at Five Guys, but I worked there only because I had to get a job for probation when I was a juvenile. And I only worked there for like, it was like a couple months apeace.
All right, this is a real serious question, bro. The biscuits at Red Lobster. Is there real cheese in there?
No, they're actually—
Don't lie to me, bro. Don't lie to me.
No, I used to eat so many of those fucking things, bro. Those things are so addictive.
So there's no real cheese, right?
I don't know, man, to be honest. I was a server. I never really thought about it. I just ate them.
That's a mystery. I'll never
yeah.
really know,
I'd
bro.
say they're probably— I mean, I don't know, actually, with all the food and shit. If it's mass produced, this shit might be just some like—
Yo, what the fuck?
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like,
strange question, Fresh.
I know. I just wondered all my time this time, bro. Red Lobster biscuits, man.
Oh, man.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, man. So at that point, I was completely just a sociopath. I started trading again, and just I didn't care about anything, so I traded a lot better. And I was still live streaming in the group because I basically told them, like, what's crazy is they tracked my shit down. Because there's, you know, it's like the internet, right? Like they tracked my shit down. They had figured out where I was in jail. Somebody called my mom, but none of my even real friends did that. I didn't have any real friends at this point, but nobody did that. Like people from a fucking Discord chat got in touch with my mom, right? Called her and was like, we're gonna, you know, everything's gonna be okay. Put money on my books.
Wow.
Everything, bro. These are people from a Discord community, right?
That's real loyal supporters, bro.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And I never had that after everything that I had in real life, like all the shit I had made for people, put people on it. And that's just, but you know, I'm not sitting there saying like crying about it, right? That is what the fuck it is, right? But it was crazy to feel like that. And that was the first time I really had like, that was real loyalty. It wasn't like bot loyalty or like these people just want something from you, right? So whenever I got out, I started, you know, going full back into Playbit. I was just streaming, like teaching classes. They started to pay me at this point. He's like, bro, I'll give you, you know, I'll pay, you know, start to hire you, right? And I kept doing well in trading because at this point, bro, like trading's a big mental game. So whenever you're trying to trade, I always tell people like this when I'm trying to like teach people, you know, not even how to trade, but like the way you have to think to be good at trading, really at anything. Like you can't place so much importance on shit because when you place importance on something, you don't act naturally. Like if you look at, you know, trading and put it on a pedestal, if you look at like, oh, I gotta pass this funded account, I gotta make this money, I gotta make this work in the next 6 months, like you probably won't act natural enough and get into a flow state and actually do it, right? So at this point, I didn't give a shit about anything. So I was dangerous, right? Like I wasn't like reckless, not give a shit about anything. But like if I lost money, I'm like, oh, doesn't matter anyways, right? So at that point, I was just a complete rock bottom mentally, and kept doing that for a little while. I still wasn't talking to anybody in my hometown. I literally just like sat in my mom's house, just traded, like figured out like, what the fuck am I gonna do now, right?
When did it go up for you?
What do you mean?
When did things like start getting better, I guess?
Oh, like to now.
Yeah.
Like to now. So like 2022, so like a year later, right? And the only reason any of that happened is, and I'll get to.
Is the case still pending?
No.
It's done?
No, it's
Okay.
done. Yeah, it's done. I got 6 years probation.
Oh shit.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I'll get into, and it's like a miracle the way it happened too. I had to fire one lawyer, get a team of 6 lawyers.
Because you're getting money now at this point, so you're able to get a good legal team.
Exactly.
Okay.
So and me doing well, and business played a big part in it too. That was a part of a thing. Like, look, this guy's like actually turning his fucking life around, right? Like, and at this point, because it was pending until early this year, right? Which I knew it was going to be over late last year, but technically it was pending till this year. But at this point, I was just like completely down in the dumps. I met the girl that I'm with today. I met her. She didn't really know, she knew because it was on the fucking news and we knew everybody, but she didn't really know.
She's from Tennessee too.
Yeah,
then?
from Tennessee. Yeah,
Okay.
She's across the street at our hotel right now. But
Was
she's
she
still
the
with
only
me,
10
man.
that you saw in
Hell
Tennessee?
yeah, man!
I knew it. Yeah, you knew it, guys. Yeah. Discord gang, support me as well if I go to
man.
jail, bro. Just saying.
Man, that's crazy. Somebody said, "Do you have cedar?" That's wild. That's like crazy throwback shit from Playbit. No, I don't have cedar as a trader. That's like insane. That's like crazy, bro. That's like throwback. Anyways. Where was I?
So you met your current
Oh yeah,
girlfriend.
I met her, and at that point, I was like completely rock bottom. Like she didn't really know the level of rock bottom. It was like this dude just got charged, and she's like the most like traditional, like no tattoos, very like wholesome. You know what I'm saying? The complete opposite of anything I had ever had before, right? Because I was like into that whole lifestyle. You can only imagine. And I remember I met her, and we started chilling a bunch, and I was just like, this is the kind of girl I actually want to be with, right? Like I didn't want to, I wasn't running around anymore. I wasn't hanging out with any of my homies. I didn't have no homies. All my homies were gone,
Jail,
right?
yeah.
Jail, snitched on me, or worse, right? Like, so I remember I talked to her. She had a good job. Like she went to college, had a degree, had this job she was gonna move for, right? And I was like, no, don't move. Listen, I'm gonna figure some shit out. I want you to trust me. Fuck that job. You're gonna fucking hate your life. Fuck Atlanta. Don't move to Atlanta. And
Atlanta.
yeah, she was gonna. That was like what she. I was like, if you're gonna fucking hate it there.
Was she white or black?
She was white.
Yeah, she was cooked there.
No, but I was like, you're gonna hate that shit. And she was like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's fucking crazy. But I talked her into it.
Yeah.
So I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to live here. So we moved to North Carolina. And right around this time, I remember I'd been making money trading, but I'm like, it was like you're in a haze, bro, because it's kind of like you got a doctor telling you like you've got 2 years to live or something.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was just sitting there crying all day or something. You know what I mean? But
She didn't know how your case was going to go
Right.
either. You
But
got this hanging over your head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she like told me
understand.
straight up like, well, whatever happens, I'm here for it. Like, I understand. Because I'd tell her, I was like, she's like, nothing's going to like happen, right? And I was like, yeah, it probably is going to happen. Like, unless a miracle happens, I'm probably going to have to do some time. Just to be honest with you. And she was like,
she stayed.
yeah, she stayed. Yeah. And I was broke, bro. I was broke. Like, I mean, not like dead broke, but broke to what I would consider now. You
That's
know
a
what I
real
mean?
one.
Like, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, right? And she split the rent with me, bro. That's how low down I was.
Whoa.
Yeah, bro. That's how low down I was at that point.
50-50.
Yeah, man. And I remember she still cooked for me, still did everything like that. But I think it was just she saw,
The ambition in you?
yeah, exactly. And she trusted in it because that's one thing, man. Like, I've been through a lot of shit. I've
Very
made a
difficult
lot of
to find.
mistakes.
That's very difficult to find in
Yeah,
today's
dude.
day and age, bro.
100%, bro. 100%. And, she saw that and was like, because on the other end, I feel like too, in that area and in general too, like a lot of younger dudes, it's hard to find like a dude who's actually on his shit too.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think she realized that, and just she believed in it more than I did. I remember she straight up told me like, you're going to figure something out. Like, you're so smart with all this stuff. Like, because I'm talking crypto. I obviously have been successful in that, So she's like, you'll figure something out. Like, you're not just an average person. Like, you just gotta, don't get depressed. Like, she got me into, like, I got fat as fuck. She's like, you gotta start working out. You gotta start taking care of yourself. And I was like, yo, this is real shit.
That's a blessing, bro.
Yeah, 100%. So around that point, we moved. I remember the judge was like, okay, well, you got to get a job or your bond's going to get revoked, right? Like, because they were thinking about revoking bond because, I mean, I think there was multiple reasons why they wanted to do that. But long story short, they told me I had to get a job. And I was like, fuck, I can't get a fucking job. I can't trade if I get a job. I can't make any money to put aside for my daughter. What fucking job am I going to get? I'm going to go fucking cut grass? I'm not going to make any money.
You're not Mexican.
But I couldn't do that. So I remember I told my lawyer, I was like, that's not an option. Like, we need to figure something out. And this lawyer too, man, like, man, fuck this guy. Like, I paid this dude so much money and he just would lead me on. Like, to this day, I almost feel like it was intentional. You know what I mean? But he would just not want to, it was like he was against me. It was like I had a lawyer that was literally against me. He's like, no, you need to get a job. And I was like, we can't like negotiate anything, like show that I'm trading. And there, of course, the judge is like, but listen, I trade crypto. You know, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they don't think that's real.
Yeah, you know, so.
What if you work for yourself?
Exactly. So he said, well, you could start a business. And I was like, there we go.
LLC started.
Right. So immediately I was like, you know, but he told me straight up, it has to really, like, you can't just say you have a business. Like, they're going to want to, you know, if you go that route, because it was like a super fucking high profile case, you know what I mean, in this area. So I remember I started calling everybody I knew that had a business. So I called my one friend. His name is Fahad. Shout out Fahad. Is my brother to this day. And I called.
Is he Indian?
No. He's like Pakistani and white.
I'm basically Indian.
But I called him and I was like, yo, man, like,
how do I get a business started?
Right. Well, I was like, I know that he had a business that had dump trucks.
Okay.
So he was in the legal business, and I was like, like, this is one of a good friend I know. At this point, we weren't as close friends as we are now, but I was like, yeah, you know, I need to figure out like a business to start. Like, what do I do? And he's like, why don't you buy a truck? And I was like, well, I don't have the money for a truck right now, because like I said, I didn't have much money at this point, right? Everything had went to shit, and it's actually crazy how terribly I used to manage money. Like, how much money has went in and out of my hands is just like in oblivion now. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But he was like, you should buy a truck. I was like, I don't have a fucking money to buy a truck. Right, 18-wheeler. It's like, you know, I didn't know credit. He's like, we could finance. I'm like, and be like, oh, money laundering? Like, you're not fucking getting financing, you know? So I remember thinking, I was like, fuck. I knew something though. Like, intuitively, I was like, this is gonna be it. And I thought, I was like, Playboy and all the people from Playbit, these guys, I knew they invested in businesses, right? So I started getting the idea. I was like, well, how much would a truck cost me if I did buy? And he told me. He's like, well, how much money does it make? And he told me. And I was like, why don't we just get investors to buy trucks, and then we run the trucks for the investors and take a cut, like a revenue share? He was like, shit, I never thought about that. I was like, yeah, man, like, are these numbers legit? Is this how it really works? You know, because I'm really going to trust you. I want to put my name on this shit. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I haven't really done it at a big scale like that. Like, he's ran his, but he's like, but we can start. So I remember I go and pitch it to the guys at Playbit, and they were like, shit, why not? Right? So they invested in the trucks. We did everything, bro. We literally flew out and looked at the trucks, bought them, drove them back, worked on them, got them ready for the road, dispatched them, found the freight. I mean, everything. Right? And he had taught me the business. So I learned like how to, you know, because trucking business is really not that complicated. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in it, but it's less complicated than you think. Like most businesses, right? Everybody thinks everything's way harder than it is. You just got to do it. Yeah. But so I got into this, and for like 6 months, it started going amazing. Like, I was like, damn, you know, I finally had something to live for, right? Because at this point, I was making money from trading. I was still doing the live streams. I remember I'd show up to those live streams. I felt like a zombie. It's like, what's up, guys? You know, everybody's like hyped because they're making money. I didn't even have that much money. I was like trading, calling out trades, not making much money. Everybody else is making money. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, guys, this is awesome, right? But I finally felt like I had something to live for, like some other thing to do other than just sulk and trade. And I drank a lot at home at this point. I was just sipping Hennessy at the house, smoking fucking vapes. I remember you smoked the tobacco vapes like crazy, bro. Damn. Those shits are disgusting. But anyways, we started seeing success. And then I'll never forget this shit. Like, shit started to kind of like, essentially like some of the investors were late on paying us a little bit, which was like, okay. we can, you know, kind of weather that storm. But our margins were so thin because we started that business like we wanted to make everybody else happy. We wanted to have a successful business. You know, I have so many businesses, they really aren't good businesses. Like they have a lot of revenue, but they're really not even making that much money. Like they're on like a fucking hamster wheel, and as soon as something clogs up, they're fucking done.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where I learned so much about business was from this business, because that's essentially what happened. Like we had that happen. Then we had a factoring company. So in trucking, you basically, everything's net 30, meaning that you don't get paid for a job
till later on,
unless you sell it to a factoring company for a 5% fee. So you have your factoring company, but like your factoring company is like your Stripe, essentially. Like they can cut your fucking water off, right? Because you send all the invoice. Like the way you do it is you set up all of your payments. Like when you go to do a load for a shipper, you tell them, okay, the payee is the factoring company. So they just, you know, they don't even owe you that money technically. But if the factoring company decides to turn your water off for whatever reason, like, oh, you know, we need this documentation from you, or, oh, there's somebody disputing this. You know, same thing as payment processors. Like, you're fucked if you don't have at least some cash reserve, which we would have, but we were owed money. Because we would fix up the trucks first. Like, we just got the money from the wire to buy the trucks. And we're like, hey, these need, like, you know, this much repairs and stuff. Bunch of, like, buying seats. But just a bunch of dumb shit, right? That adds up when you do it and then do the labor. So they didn't send the money and they kept delaying shit. And we're like, fuck, we gotta, you know, we're already paying insurance on these trucks. Like, we gotta get on the road. So we went out of pocket and paid for it, put us in a hole. Then the factoring company starts to, you know, fuck with us, right? And I remember our insurance, we had an insurance payment. The way that they build you is like everything at once for like 6 or 10 months, depending on the.
Damn, up front?
Yeah, everything once. And it's like a fucking, at this point, it was like a $43,000 bill. Which isn't a lot of money, really. Now, looking back, it's so funny. Back then, I was like, but here, bro, let me show you this picture. This bank account went negative $42,000. You even know you could do that?
Holy shit. I didn't even know you could go down that low.
Watch this.
Before they fucking take your shit.
They do the next day. They do.
Okay.
But essentially, it's, you know, let me find this.
I believe it, man, but that's crazy, though. That must have all been charged like one day. Wow.
Yeah, it was all at once.
Wow.
Damn, leave it to Wells Fargo.
Yeah,
Wells
but
Fargo trash.
Essentially, and it was essentially we were fucked at that point, right? But we somehow, it's crazy, we pulled out of that and we made like no money, and we were just like paying, because we still paid the profit share.
You're basically just paying to operate.
Exactly, and paying out investors. We weren't even making money because we wanted people to make money.
Yeah.
Right. And then we somehow came out of that, because the thing was too, there's more context that we did have more money coming in. It's not like we were just completely broke, right?
Yeah.
It was just like a bad window of time.
Yeah.
You know, to be clear, we weren't completely fucking stupid. I mean, we definitely made a lot of mistakes, but we had other money coming in. It was just delayed. We ended up getting all the money from our factoring company, and we kept running, right? So we kept running for a while. We had all sorts of crazy shit happen. Trucking business. You guys ever? You probably don't.
No, we're familiar with it. We
It's
had a guy come in.
We had a guy come in and talk about it.
It's a terrible fucking industry.
It's tough.
Cutthroat as fuck.
Truck car rentals.
Yeah, it's probably similar, bro.
Yeah.
But you know, we had truck driver like lock himself in the truck, had to remove him from the truck after like 48-hour standoff. We had dude, all sorts of crazy shit, bro. Like this was one of our trucks, but a guy stole it. Like the truck driver stole it because we fired him, and then the shop that it was at, he walked in and acted like he was picking it up, bro. Like on some crazy snake shit. I remember we like literally flew out a new driver to go start driving this truck, and he got there. He's like, the truck isn't here, and we're like, what do you mean? Like a week after it was gone, we called the shop. We're like, where the fuck's the truck? He was like, oh, I gave it to Damien. We're like,
oh man,
he's fired, bro.
Now I'm like, oh no. I remember I had to hunt this dude down.
I was
like
gonna say.
Private investigator shit. Hunted his ass down all the way to Eufaula, Alabama, and ended up getting on like a tow company that was down there, and get on the phone with them. Was like, yo, I got like a job for you guys. Like, we gotta go like recover this shit. Had to show them like we own the truck. Like because like it happened in Mississippi. It was in Jackson, Mississippi, which is like fucking hood as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
The cops, they don't give a fuck. Like straight up, they were like, oh yeah, sounds like something you might want to, you know, take up in civil court. Motherfucker stole a truck, bro. Yeah. But you know, because we weren't even gonna call the cops, but the reason we had to is because they wanted like a police to prove that it's a stolen truck. But then we finally talked to him and we're like, look, bro, why would I want you to do this if it's not really mine? Like, we'll show you it's on paperwork. But anyways, they went out, had to like recover the truck from the dude. Crazy ass stories. But a truck caught on fire. Like electrical started fucking up in a truck, it caught on fire. But essentially, long series of unfortunate events later, the Ukraine war hit. So oil is like catastrophic through the roof, right?
Yeah.
So that was like the final blow. I remember I told Fahad, I was like, bro, like this shit's, we had fucking, but we were like going down Whitewater Rapids in a raft that had a fucking hole in it. Somehow we're still floating for like months, right? And I was like, bro, we gotta just, it's done. Like, you gotta accept it. And he was like, fuck, dude. I was like, it's over, bro, we lost, right? And I remember I was like, now, at that point, I was like, man, I fucked everything up now. Because this is like, you know, this is the only, mind you, like, this is play, but this is like my family at this point. I don't have no friends. And I'm like, fuck, like, I failed these people, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I done fucked up. Now, they didn't, like, lose a bunch of money. Like, I ended up selling their trucks for them. They came out, like, fine, you know what I mean? But at this point, it felt like the end of the world. And I remember going back to them. And from my mindset where I'd been conditioned from what I used to do, I'm like, that was like, you know, you're done, like, exiled shit. You know what I mean? If you did that in other business, like, worse than exiled, you know what I'm saying? You can't just fuck up like that and that. But they were like, no, dude, it's okay. Like, it's business. Business is business, right? So they, at that point, they were like, you know, it is what it is. Just help us sell the trucks, and we'll push behind it. So I remember I helped them sell the trucks, but at this point, mind you, I'm, you know, still fighting this case. Now the business is blown up. All the money I had gone, all the money I had made in trading, all the money I had shoveled it in this fucking business. Like a madman. That was another reason it stayed alive.
Yeah.
Because me and my partner went completely like negative into debt, right? I was in like 20 grand of debt at this point.
Yeah.
Right? So, rock bottom. Again. Completely fucked up. Like, at this point, I was like, bro, how the fuck do you even get here? Like, how does all this shit happen in your life and you fucking get to this point again?
At this time,
Right?
how many failed businesses did you have? Like, what?
Just well, I skipped over so I also got into solar. Like, I skipped over like multiple years here. Whenever I first got back, whenever my baby mother left, I hate that term, I know I said that, but the mother of my child, when she left, I also got into the solar business.
So you had a lot of failures.
Yeah, I had a lot of failures, bro. Yeah, a lot of failures. But business-wise, like 2.
Gotcha.
Right? But that's a whole other thing. I just try to not talk a whole fucking novel. But I was in door-to-door sales for a while, too, before all this. But anyways, at this point, I was like complete rock bottom, right? And I had literally no fucking money. Me and the girl that I'm with now were at this apartment. And I remember I had to ask her, I was like, yo, I need you to like cover rent this month. Like, I'll get it back next month.
What'd she say?
She's like, yeah, I got you 100%. I remember she would ask me all the time when the business was going down, like, do I need to give you money? Because she got an inheritance from her family.
Oh, okay.
And she had money. And I was like,
Gotcha.
no, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
She's like, baby, like, I don't need this money. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with it? I was like, keep it. Like, you know what the fuck's going to happen to me? But she was like, down, dude. Like, she's like, I'll throw it into it. She's like, it's just money.
She's a real one.
Yeah, 100%. Like, she don't care. She's like, it's just money. Like, you know, do you think if I gave it to you, it would make everything work? And I was like, I don't know. But even if it did, I wouldn't have taken that shit. You know what I mean? I don't like taking help like that.
Yeah.
Especially from your girl, bro. As a dude, like, come on, man. That's not your role.
Yeah.
You know, that's not your role. So, at that point, I remember I had to like start doing DoorDash, bro. Literally started doing, because there's nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, what's great, this is where I tell people, and I've never like talked about all this super publicly about this kind of my story, but like that's when people tell me shit like, oh, you don't understand, I have nothing. I'm like, motherfucker, like, yes, I do, bro. Yes, I fucking do, because it does not fucking matter. It does not matter. You can have absolutely fucking nothing and come up to whatever the fuck you want to be. I was riding fucking DoorDash, bro.
Damn.
Right, literally making $200 on a good day. On a good day. Did that shit all day long, 10, 12 hours a day, every single day for like a month, ran up some money, put in a trading account, and I remember I was just completely full sending shit, trading crypto futures. This is also right whenever I was going like back into Playbit, like completely at this point, there's nothing else, right? My case was kind of coming, like at that point I thought it was coming to an end. I thought it was coming closer to an end, but they kept like pushing it off. They'd be like, this is the last court date. This is the last court date. You know, you're going to trial if you don't take a deal. Because this time they had pled down to offer me 10 years and then 8 years, right? And I was like, I'm dead at this point. Like, that's still basically like a death sentence. In my head at that point, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'll go to trial. But this is where things actually started to like take the fuck off. Because I was at such a rock bottom, so low, where I realized like, you got to fucking completely get a hold of yourself if you have any fucking chance at getting through what you got ahead of you. Like, you've gone broke, you're in debt now, you got a girl that actually like is a good woman that you want to be with, you're not on drugs. Like you got everything, you got all the opportunities. Like you gotta,
Figure it out.
figure it the fuck out. If you have any chance of getting over and getting through this. So this is where I went, and a lot of people probably saw this on social media. I started running at like 5 a.m. every day. Like I went like the whole full fucking David Goggins thing. Which I will say, you don't have to do that to become successful. I think there's a big narrative that you have to do that. You don't have to do that. But I did. That's what I did. I was fat as fuck too. I got depressed. I was drinking. So I basically like completely reinvented myself. Right? I was waking up at 5 a.m, going and running. In Tennessee, it's cold as fuck in the winter. I was running out there with a sauna suit on, fat as fuck. I couldn't even run a half mile. Fucking shins were about to explode, wheezing like a bitch. I was running to the gym. I remember I was like 5, but I was like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So,
Hey, motivation, bro.
yeah, man. I mean, that's why I always look back and like I'm grateful, man, because it's fucking crazy, man. Like even sitting here telling this story today, like sitting here with you guys, fucking crazy to me, bro. And I guarantee there's people watching me from my home city right now that are fucking mind blown. Like, what the fuck? How the fuck did this even happen? Because I was always a fucking loser. I was a scumbag. Not like I didn't fuck people over. I didn't do people wrong, but like I was the drug dealer. I was known as that. Everybody knew me as that.
This should be a movie, bro.
I made a documentary. It's gonna come out soon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna come out soon. That goes more in depth, and I've went pretty in depth today, but I skipped over a couple things just for time's sake. But at that point, I had something just fucking snapped, bro. Because I was like, you failed this. Like, what I started to think was like, there's no way all this fucking shit can happen to you. All this crazy shit. Like, how far I can started a trucking business. I had gotten through all this shit with the game. Everything to this point, like, there's no way my story's gonna end just going to prison. I was like, there's no way. I don't accept that. Right? I went to like a delusional stage. So at that point, I just put everything I had into just not being, becoming a new version of myself. Right? So I started working out. I got into I was fasting, bro. I did like a 7-day fast, bro. I was fucking insane. Like literal.
Is that healthy? 7-day fast?
Probably not.
No,
bro.
but probably mental strength for him.
It was all mental.
Yeah.
It was all mental. Started cold plunging, all that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I remember I did a 10-minute cold plunge like the second time I did it.
Yeah.
It's like crazy shit. Just like trying to, like I was literally psycho shit, bro. My girl was like, fuck, like, okay, babe, like this is good, but not like that crazy. But really, man, that's where I started to like do well. And I started to journal every day. I was reading every day. I woke up at like 5 a.m. and at this point I had been trading the whole time too, and like I'd made good money trading. But whenever I remember sitting there calling out trades in Playbit, like I was giving out trades, and I was like making like $70 on a fucking trade. I shit, like $70, $80 because I was trying to flip this DoorDash money, and people are in there posting P&Ls where they're making thousands off a trade I called. And I'm like,
damn,
what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, how did you? And I used to make money like that, and then I fell off, and like I was just, it's crazy, bro. But
that's very humbling. Imagine you're making $70-$80 profit. Someone doing your same play, making thousands of dollars.
So what made them? What ended up getting you like only the 6 months? I guess like did you got a new lawyer?
Right. Well, so they ended up delaying the case though. They kept saying that, but then there was like a bunch of things like, oh, like they couldn't gather witnesses for a trial was a thing, or oh, then the feds are going to pick it up. So we're gonna put it off. Oh, this right. So I had the same lawyer.
You were threatening to like go to trial.
Yeah. Oh, I told my lawyer because this time, me and my fucking lawyer at this time fucking hated each other.
Okay.
I fucking hated this dude. Like literally, I remember.
He wasn't a public defender, right?
No, fuck no. He was like the hot shot in that city.
Oh. Okay.
But he was also. I'm gonna leave. I won't say things directly. Let's just say he was very connected in that area.
Gotcha.
And this is a very, very political, high level case, right?
Yeah.
So you can, and I started to realize things, and I was like. I knew that I needed to get rid of him, but I didn't have any money. I was in debt. I was in fucking debt.
Yeah.
So I remember I started to actually start seeing more consistency in trading. This is where I actually started to really make money trading, right? So I started off with like a $1,500 Binance account, quadrupled that, had $6,000, and then I ended up just trading a bunch of crypto all the time. And then that's when I discovered prop firms later on.
And you made that money from the DoorDash, right?
Right, from DoorDash. That's why whenever people
crazy.
you cannot say, oh, I don't have a job. Oh, I don't have this.
Yeah. No excuses.
No excuses, bro. Yeah. Literally, go fucking sell shit on Facebook, bro. Go find shit on Facebook Market. Like, the fuck? People say that shit and they're on fucking their phones all day.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
True. Yeah.
On
X. It's crazy. Yeah. But
TikTok.
Yeah, so I started really, seeing consistency, started making money. And I was also like posting on Twitter, starting to like be a member of the community there. And I remember that's when I figured out what prop firms were. Now this is fast forward to 2022, right? Or late 2022. Like August, it was like May or August, something like that. Because Hollex, as a trucking company, failed at the February when the Ukraine war. Yeah, it was like summer of 2022.
Yep.
And I remember I got funded with this prop firm that's now no longer here called My Forex Funds. It ended up blowing up because the fucking feds hit him with the case for being like a complete. I think you guys actually talked about it with Raul and Q, because I watched the episode before I came
back in the day.
Yeah, that prop firm, I got funded with them. And I remember I got funded with a 300K account. This is back when prop firms were way crazier. You could make way more money than you can now. Well, I mean, you can still make that kind of money, to be clear. It was a lot easier.
Okay.
Because they had bigger drawdowns. Like you could lose 12% of that account. And anyway, they didn't have all sorts of crazy rules to pay you out. But I remember getting that account. And even though I traded size before, like even though I had done well with my own money and traded very well and called out a bunch of trades, it completely fucking wrecked my mentality. Because now I had hope to actually come out of this hole I was in. I had this opportunity where now you've got this 300K account, but it was like it put this, these blinders on me where I was so scared of everything. Like I was overthinking everything. It wasn't like me. And I remember like I valued my fucking self like on this performance of this trading because I was like, bro, you fucking have a chance. Like don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
And I fucked it up. I blew that account. Right. It was like a slow, painful death of like just blowing this account. So I blew that account. And then I ended up getting 2 more because you can get funded with multiple. I got 2 more, and then that's when I started having like huge success.
Isn't that like gambling a little bit?
Yeah, hell yeah. Trading is gambling. It's educated gambling. Anybody who says it's not, I mean, like it's not gambling in the sense because gambling definitively is like you're placing money on a probabilistic outcome. Mm-hmm. That's what trading is. Okay. Now, gambling, what most people think of gambling is like I'm going to put my entire net worth on something and hope it returns. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying trading's like that, to be clear. But like to a level, you're educated. You're an educated gambler, right? So that was when I started having like my big run, right? So I remember I got my first pay, I think it was like 22,000, something like that. And then I started getting like 22,000, 33, or it was like 34,000, 19,000. And I started actually getting like 5-figure payouts pretty consistently.
Then you got rid of that lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. That was when I went on this like generational, well, it wasn't generational to now, but like at that point, bro, like remember I was in debt.
Yeah.
Right?
20K in debt, and then you were able to
I ran it up.
Get out. Yeah.
I didn't even pay the debt off. I was like, fuck that. I got to keep the cash. Fuck the debt. What's debt?
Yeah.
So then
at least until this case was done.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, what's funny enough, what I ended up doing, so I ended up getting like credit repair. I didn't even pay that shit because they already put it to collection at this point. So it wasn't debt.
Fair.
Like, so I ended up paying a credit repair due to, what's so funny, bro, speaking of Kevo, I remember he was in the credit repair space and I saw something. I was like, oh, you can do this? Like, I didn't know that was a thing. So I like had my credit cleaned and then I did like the trade lines, built up credit. And then with the money that I had made and the credit cards that I got, because I went and applied for like all the credit cards at once. Like that, that was like the whole credit.
That saved you, huh?
Yeah, I ended up spending everything I had and getting a lawyer. It was no 10. So have you ever seen the movie Masterminds? No. With Zach Galifianakis, like the bank robber? Like he was like it's like a comedy, but it's about the biggest bank. I think it's like the second biggest bank robber in U.S. history.
Really?
Okay.
He was that dude's lawyer. Okay. He was also the lawyer of like the largest marijuana case in U.S. history too. The dude that was like shipping weed over from like Taiwan, or it was like in the 60s or something, like thousands and thousands of pounds. So I hired him and his 5 other lawyers from his firm because you like hire all of them.
Yeah.
So at this point,
how much did that cost you?
It was $130K.
Okay. To take your case on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. They were no fucking joke, bro. I remember some of that I was like, fuck. I didn't have to pay it all at once, but I had to pay like $80K at once. So it was all the money I had, and then I ended up using like, I remember I was like, I knew that that was like, they probably thought I was such a degenerate because I was like, hey, let me run this card for this much. And run this card for this much because I fucking maxing out all my shit.
Yeah.
They were probably like, damn, this guy's a fucking psycho.
Yeah, it's worth it, I guess, in that case. So, so they come in, and then how long were they on the case before you ended up?
So they came in, and at this point too. Okay, so there's a little bit I'm leaving out at this point. So so during that run, that's also like that was in late 2022, and going into 2023. That's also whenever I started making YouTube videos. Because I had a YouTube, this whole time, I had a YouTube where I was just streaming my trades live for Playbit.
Gotcha.
So back in the day, Discord could only have 50 people in a chat. So I would stream on YouTube just so people could watch me trade.
Watch you trade, yeah.
So that was how my YouTube grew originally. A lot of people, like the guy that made a hit piece on me, tried to say that I just like made up my online persona after I got in trouble. It's fucking stupid. It's funny. But that was how my YouTube came to be, was that I had like 2,000 subs in January 2023. So mind you, I'm like a fucking nobody online. I didn't know what content creation was. This is just a fucking year and a half ago, bro. Like actually almost 2 years. It's crazy how fast that goes. But I went from 2,000 subs in 2023 to where I'm at now is 200K, like 195.
Let's go.
Yeah. It's crazy, bro. So I was documenting a lot of it. I used to trade live on Twitch. It's so funny too because, you know, in trading, everybody that sells a course or something always is a scammer. And then they try to play that angle on me because of my past and shit. It's like, bro, I literally traded fucking live. That's how I got like famous. We'll call it famous, whatever. I still trade live every single day. But that was how I came up on YouTube was trading live, posting a lot of videos. So mind you, I remember I fired that lawyer in the end of January 2023. I posted my first organized YouTube video in January 2023. But that first YouTube video busted me to like 10, 15K subs. I fired these lawyers, fired the one lawyer, hired the other 6. I was like, let's fucking go. I was like, either I'm going to get out of this shit or I will fucking go down fighting. And I was a fucking madman at this point. Like there was no turning back. My mom, my dad, everybody begged me to take a deal because they had offered 8 years at this point. They're like, 8 years is a lot different than 15. And no, it doesn't sound like it. And I was like, fuck that shit. We're not doing it. I didn't come this fucking far. I didn't come do all this. I didn't build this brand. I didn't do all this shit and go through everything I went through to just fucking take a deal and go to prison. Right. So, and I knew I had these lawyers because as soon as I hired them, bro, this is the craziest thing. You know how many motions my other lawyer filed?
How many?
2. You know what they were? One of them was a motion of discovery, which is fucking in
They have to
every
do that.
court. Yeah. The other one was a motion to suppress evidence that they found in my California house, which was nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't find any evidence.
Yeah.
That was the only motion that was filed. And I didn't really know this, but I had asked, like, what are we doing? Oh, you know, there's not really much you can do. And then that's why at this point I fucking hated this guy. I never forget having to fire him in court. Having to be like, they're calling everybody up. You stand next to him, and he didn't know I was going to fire him.
Yeah.
The other lawyers are in there, and I'm like, Your Honor, I need to make a statement in the court.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
yeah, so it's on
you
the
don't
record.
talk in court.
So it's on the record.
Yeah, you don't talk in court like if you're unless you're a psycho, you know, at least. And they're like, the fuck? Like, okay, continue. I was like, today I'm going to be relieving Mr. Bowman from my counsel.
Damn.
Everybody was like, all right, what the fuck?
Yeah, because he's a hotshot lawyer in town.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, who's going to be, you know, taking this case? All these 5 lawyers stood up because they weren't all there. It was 5 of them stood up. Was like, oh, we got it from here, Your Honor. And at that point, I was like, I have a chance.
That's a movie type clip.
Talk about the most crazy rush of dopamine, adrenaline you ever felt in your fucking life. My heart was beating so goddamn fast in that moment, bro. Having to say that in the court, bro. That was one of the craziest moments of my life.
Well, that's good because the prosecutor didn't know this was coming either.
Yeah.
Good strategy. Yeah.
So I didn't really know it was coming either until like the last minute either, to be fair. Like as soon as I figured it, because also adding on to that, they had said that the trial dates, they had already reserved trial for March. And this happened in January. So like they had reserved a week. They hadn't set it because they can't set it till, you know, you're past, it's like a deadline for motions. I think a motion deadline or something. But they said that was going to be that day. And that was the day that I fired him.
Nice.
So then they were like,
good timing.
Okay, well, we're going to have to extend this for at least 6 months.
Yep.
But I never even had to go to court after that.
Wow.
Because those lawyers, they fired like 27 motions the next court day. And I was like, oh, fuck, like this might really be possible. You know?
Yeah, I mean, having good defense counsel is literally critical, man, to in the criminal justice system. And guys, just so you guys know, we are going to do after hours.
Yes.
Chris is going to be here soon. So yeah, we'll do after hours right
I've
after
got some
this.
chats as well. Some
Chats?
questions from
Cool.
people.
Oh, chat
Yeah.
questions? Okay, yeah, we can do that. And then also, just so you guys know, we got CastleClub Premium
Yes.
sale. It's going to go up to 98. You can get it. Go ahead and get it now for 65. And we're also going to go ahead and give you guys a link if you guys want to get an annual. And the annual, I think we're going to price it for you guys only at $500 for the year. So
That's fire.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Instead of paying $780 or even more, it would have been like $1,200. If you did it, you can go ahead and get it for $500 for the year. So we got y'all. And the software is only going to last for a little bit. What do we got here with the chats?
Fresh's dog.
Go ahead, Fresh. You got it.
W. Casper for holding himself accountable for his bad decisions, not blaming his parents like them 304s. He means the girls that come on the show that blame other people, but not themselves.
Yeah, no, my parents were amazing fucking parents, bro. Like amazing. It's actually insane. Like looking back, I shouldn't have done. There's no reason for me to do that. I was just like a lot of energy and a lot of anger. And I always had a lot of ambition. And the first thing that I saw that had any like resemblance of business was selling drugs.
Yeah.
That was the only reason it was that. It could have been anything else. I probably would have latched onto it. But I latched onto that.
You made it out, bro.
Thank God.
What's the next one? We got here. Ron Martinez says, I'm interested in investing in dividend stocks. Would ULTY be a good choice? If no, then else dividend stock would you consider?
You know,
What else dividend stocks?
not non-financial advice here. Not just kidding. But
Yeah.
I actually bought some Walgreens and Verizon, and other ones are good too. Like AT&T is good for long term. Coca-Cola is really good for dividends.
Yeah.
I always tell people too. Like I'm, happy to tell what I'm doing with investing, but a lot of people mistake trading for investing. Not the same. Not the same. Trading and investing are completely different. Investing is like you're gonna look at either something's value, what you value, its intrinsic real value. Like Bitcoin, you can't really do company financials. You just know its value because you believe in it as a decentralized source of money.
Yeah.
Like something like Coca-Cola, you can look, say, okay, this company's been paying out dividends for 100 years.
For years.
That's different. That's investing, right? Like you either have like a hope in something because you believe in it, or you've been able to run the numbers. And there's a book, The Intelligent Investor. I highly recommend everybody should read that book, even if you're not trying to start investing, because you should. And it'll teach you, like I do, there's like the defensive and the aggressive investor, right? Aggressive is just too much time for me, because that's like, at that point you're kind of trading, but it's like you're like trying to run a fund at that point.
Okay.
But the passive investor, it's actually rather simple. Like you don't even move everything except every 6 months. You just trade between bonds and stocks that pay dividends. And you have a very consistent way of kind of qualifying stocks. And you just look at stocks that have been paying dividends for a long time. Don't try to, play. If you're going for dividends, don't try to play the game of like, hitting big on percentages of what you gain, like from the stock itself, right? You're probably not going to triple your money off Coca-Cola. I mean, you will in the long term because of inflation.
Will take time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What's the next one, Bills? Sammy056 says, Fresh, can you work your networking magic and get Samuel Onuha on for Money Monday? He does e-commerce / dropshipping. Mentioned it on Myron's stream the other day. Not sure if he told you. I don't know who that is, but I'll look him up for you. No problem, bro. You know this?
I know who he is. Yeah, I don't know him, but I've been seeing him. He's killing the short form game for sure. He's like I think he's in Dubai or something. He's got the G wagons always in the shots.
Is he black?
Yeah.
Oh, I did see him on my Explore page.
Yeah, he's doing good on content. I don't know anything.
He's a
about
brother,
him,
right?
But, huh?
He's a brother, right?
Yeah. There's two. He has two. Yeah.
I saw the Lambo.
Yeah.
The Lambos. Okay, cool.
Yeah. He's killing the content game.
I've seen him, but I don't know him personally. Guessly says, Casper, you may legit have a Grand Theft Auto story made about your life. That's a good story, bro. Wild stuff. Congrats on your success. Keep going.
Hey, thank you, man. And I just want to be clear on this too. I don't want to glorify it at all. Like it's not. It ain't cool. It's crazy. And like I ain't even really told it half of it, man. We could one day we'll probably talk and some way crazier shit I don't even talk about on here. But like, I highly recommend anybody listen to this shit that is even remotely involved in it should just stop, because you can make way more money doing other things.
Legit.
Not having to fucking look over your shoulder, not losing everybody. Because dude, it's crazy, because I was thinking about this last night when I was in the room looking over the city. I was like, man, it would be so crazy if I would have been able to enjoy this kind of success with the people I came up with.
Yeah.
I never will.
Yeah.
So
sad.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm grateful for it. Like I'm grateful that I got arrested. It's the best thing that ever happened to me in my life is that I got arrested. Because
you know who you got to thank too? Playbit.
100%. No, Playboy. If it wasn't for Playboy, I would not be where I'm at today. I would not have ever made a YouTube. I never had the intention of being a content creator. I never had the intention of. I wanted to be a trader, and that was it. Right?
Yeah.
The only reason I became a content creator is because he gave me an opportunity. And honestly, that made me a way better trader, because trading in front of people, like anybody who's watching this in trades, they can tell you trading in front of people is not very easy, but it makes you a way better trader because you're accountable. Like if I had to literally trade in front of people live for years, you know how much better of a trader that makes you?
Yeah.
It's
you're under pressure. That's like in your face.
Yeah, and it's like trading's already mental enough. Like I remember when I used to stream on Twitch. I'm so glad I don't stream on Twitch. I just stream for like my mentorship now. But I love streaming with them because that's like these people are serious and dedicated. Like we have people making hundreds of thousands of dollars in there. If you're live streaming on Twitch, there's somebody in there that's gonna lose like $20 and like, fuck you, you suck, scammer, piece of shit. And it just gets so used to get to me. I could give a fuck less now, man.
Yeah.
I could give a fuck. I look at it like this. I'm like,
Jeremy gave you the stamp. That's all I needed.
Right? Yeah. Jeremy's a legend, bro. Jeremy's a legend.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for Jeremy, dude. A lot of respect for Jeremy. And he's a great example. I tell people about this. I actually, I tell people the story like in my group. Jeremy, he hadn't even traded before. He came in and made $900,000 from Apex. Anybody listen to this? They're probably not even gonna believe that, but it's 100%
No,
legit.
I didn't believe it until he showed me it.
Yeah,
I was like, bro,
he's plugged in like
put
with
me on
Apex.
game with your mentor, which is you. So shout out to you, bro.
But what does that tell you though?
Yeah.
What does that tell you? Like if 95% of people fail at trading, but then one dude comes in and is successful, what does that tell you? It tells you that it's not that trading is so hard. It's just that people don't fucking get themselves in check. If you take a top 1% person in anything and put them in anything else, they're gonna fucking win.
They'll learn the system,
And
even if they fail.
It's because of how you think and how you operate and what level and what standard you hold yourself to.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem with traders. Half the time is they want to fucking blame other things. They want to blame the market. They want to blame some guru. They want to blame a fucking prop firm. They want to blame everything. But people that are successful, and I see this like in my mentorship, I charge more than most people do, right? 100%. Now, I do more than most people do too. I help people a lot one-on-one. I review all their trades, every single one of them, and a lot of others to trade live with them. Way different than just
And you
a
have a
course.
link, right, as well?
Oh yeah, there's a free course, a whole free course link in the description. You guys can download that totally free.
Can you show it, Bills?
Yeah, it teaches you literally everything you need to know. Yeah, it's everything. Like it's like an hour and a half of worth of video, all for free. So go ahead and download that. And yeah, man.
There you go.
But I trade live with all my people every day, Tuesday through Thursday. And the people in there, they're higher level people. And a lot of the time, they paid higher and they take it more seriously. And they're more financially stable, ready to actually fucking make money. Instead of like a lot of people, they go into trading with their last dollar. They haven't taken the time to develop themselves. They fucking wake up 10 minutes before the market opens, roll out of bed, fucking try to buy some meme coin and make money, and then be like, oh, that's why trading has such a high failure rate. It's not because it's that fucking hard. It is hard, but anything worth doing is fucking hard.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people in trading has such a low barrier to entry that you get people that haven't really developed themselves yet.
And then they get mad when they lose.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense, bro. I see it all the time. All the time. What's the next one? It's Johnny. Shout out to Casper.
Hey,
See my guy come up from Playbit, where we met 4 to 5 years ago. Respect, proud of you, G. Johnny.
Man, Johnny's a legend, bro.
Yeah.
Johnny's a legend. Yeah, man. I remember me and him. He actually was funny. Crazy story. So he got me into ecom years ago. Whenever we were like, I was trying to. It was when I got into Playbit. He was one of the first members of Playbit too, and he was killing it with ecom. Like I remember talking to this dude. He's like, "Yeah, I made $60,000 last month selling puppy piss pads." I'm like, "What the fuck is this dude doing? Tell me how to do that." And what's crazy, you know, Jordan Welch.
Yeah.
That's like my bro now. He literally put me on Jordan's YouTube videos years ago, and I remember watching this, trying to do dropshipping. I didn't stick with it because I was trading.
Yeah.
But I remember Johnny put me onto that. I watch his videos, and then now, like, I was just with Jordan a couple weeks ago when I was in Miami. Fucking crazy, isn't that? Like, that's crazy.
How the world works is funny.
Yeah, man. I had no intention of being a content creator or anything. It's wild, but shout out to Johnny, man. He's a real one, man.
Well, now you're here.
Yeah, man.
We got here. Kid who says trading off and on for 4 to 5 years. 25% win rate, $300 account. Took a break to focus on my career to allow more adding capital and decrease win percent. I'm focusing on consistency, gym, work, sleep, and thoughts.
Focus on your career, bro. Like, you need to make some money. 100, just being 100 with you, $300. You shouldn't be trading it. Maybe you have more to spend, maybe you don't. I would say wait until you comfortably have $5,000 to literally, if it's like if you spent $5,000 on a vacation right now, it wouldn't fuck you up.
Okay.
That's how you have to look at it. Now, am I saying you're going to blow the whole 5,000? No. Do you have to use the whole 5,000 to trade? No. But it's going to give you a cushion. Now, work on the other things during that time. Like work on sleep, go to the gym. Just become a better human, man. Like one of the first things that I do when I work with people, I get them in, I say, okay, like we're going to track your habits. We're going to track every trade you take. You're going to fill out this form before you trade. You're going to fill it out after you trade. If you don't, we're going to be in touch with you, reminding you of why you signed up. Like, oh, you signed up because you want to retire your mom? Oh, you didn't wake up and check a fucking Notion box, but you want to retire your mom. Like, you know, it's a fucking joke, right? That's you have to get all that in line, and you know, like anyone who's listening to this, you know whether or not you're locked in like that. Because if you're not, you have no fucking business trying to come into an industry where 95% of people fail and expect any different. There's no fucking sense in that. So I always tell people, get your money right. Focus on a career. Be confident that you can make money. Like, because look, I'm not going to say you have to do that because obviously I didn't do that. But it also took me almost 8 years, right? Before I really had my big year, right? It was like 6.5 years before I really had like or 5.5 years before I had really had a big breakthrough, right? 5.5 fucking years. You guys realize a lot of these guys are young as fuck. 5.5 years ago, you motherfuckers were probably still in high school, or maybe you are in high school.
Yeah.
Right? But it doesn't have to take you that long. But the only way it won't take you that long is if you get yourself together where you've leveled up, you've grown up, manned up, and have some money and have confidence that you're good no matter what.
And if you lose it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Trading is not a broke man is at a disadvantage in trading.
Got it.
You know, I would say like get another skill. Like if you have no money, like learn sales, like learn something, make some money. Like I'm not saying you have to go work a job you hate, but make some money, then come back to trading once you've been developed.
Uber Eats,
DoorDash,
something,
baby.
man.
Yeah, man.
All right. What else we got here, Bills? That's it. Okay, Casper, aka Jesse. We've been through your whole story, man. It's been incredible, almost like a movie. I want to see the documentary, by the way.
Yeah, it's coming out soon, man.
Send it to me right away when it comes out.
Yeah.
Where can they find you? And what's up next for you?
Yeah,
trading.
man. Yeah. So goal, like this year, I really want to size up like crazy. So you guys are gonna be seeing some crazy trades from me. You can find me on YouTube. I'll recap all the trades on there. I post tons of free stuff. I always say like this: I post all the information in the world, everything you need for free. I don't sell information. I sell implementation. Right?
Sheesh.
So I don't give a fuck. I put it all out there, right? So if you want to follow me on YouTube, follow me on YouTube. I'll post trade recaps. I might go live every once in a while. This year got some really crazy things coming, some software coming.
What's your YouTube, by the way?
Casper SMC.
Okay.
Yeah,
Boom.
Casper SMC.
Guys, go check them out. Very interesting story, man. We'll be back, guys, with some girls. We're probably going to start, I think Chris just walked in like 10:45.
We got
Chris?
one more chat here as well. One more chat. Let's see.
Oh, there's Playboy. That's Bitcoin Playboy.
Bitcoin Playbit.
It's one of his people. Okay.
Yeah,
We
man.
got, it says, Unbank COO here, baby. Casper, let me know about the origin of Playbit on Stream Raid. Brother has come a long ass way. Proud of you, man.
Yeah,
go.
man. Yeah, he probably wasn't here, but I was talking about everything whenever I first came in. I remember I found him on Cali Plug. Was like messaging this dude. He was literally helping me one-on-one. I was paying like $125. It's crazy. Helped me all the way from there, bro, to being a coach in there, calling out trades live, all the way to here. It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, insane. And I remember he even had my back because, like, whenever the person trying to make a hit piece or whatever, trying to, push
Talk
it out,
shit.
he was like, yo, like, this is all bullshit. Like, you could say whatever you want about my past, but, like, I definitely was a trader years before I was a YouTuber. I definitely did have a trucking company. They try to say, like, I made up all this shit. It's like, motherfucker. But wait, that's why I made a documentary. That's the funny thing, is because these people wanted to, like, attack me, but now it's like, now you're going to look real fucking stupid. And there's some stuff coming out that people don't know about that person. So there's a lot of shit coming out. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Like and I'm glad that all that shit happened because now I'm on here talking about it. I'm gonna put out my documentary.
Yeah.
Everything's documented. Bro, it's crazy going back through all my old iClouds, everything, putting together all this shit, bro. Because I document everything. I have pictures, DoorDash, and I have pictures, $60 P&Ls, bro. I remember everything. It's crazy. But yeah, man.
You made it out, man.
Thank God, bro. I still
No excuses.
Crazy.
Guys, we'll be back for after hours around 10:45. So, guys, go check them out. Links are below. Peace.
Peace.